Chapter 324. After experiencing it firsthand, they were even more aware of the terror of the Tree of Path Understanding. Merely cultivating under the Tree of Path Understanding every day had such terrifying effects. Once the Tree of Path Understanding bears fruits, what kind of heaven-defying effects would there be? Therefore, the Path Understanding tree was the foundation of the Changsan sect. It was also given to them by Ling Xiao before he left. They could not afford to lose it. That's the only way. Sect leader, you've cultivated the longevity supreme scripture. Can you fight the sun god? The first elder asked with anticipation. Now that Nangong Xian was unfathomable, the first elder could not even take one move from him. Therefore, he was looking forward to seeing how strong Nangong Xian was now. I can fight him, but it's hard to say who will win. Nangong Xian's eyes glinted. But the sun god is not the most important. The most important thing is the sun-moon-star sect. This time, a noble realm supreme elder came. Peng Zihao is already hard to deal with. When the longevity secret land opens, I'm afraid the sect leader of the sun-moon-star sect will come. The great elder sighed and said, that's right. The Immortals' secret territory used to be our Changxing sect's treasure trove. But now, it's become a treasure trove for the 8 Desolates region. We can only blame ourselves for not being able to protect our ancestors' inheritance. I wonder if the saint can make it back in time. Nangong Xian smiled and said, he will definitely return. The moon goddess has already said that even Sky Snake Descent was defeated by Ling Xiao. In time, I believe that the entire 8 Desolates region will crawl under his feet. When that time comes, it will be the time for the Changsan sect to rise. Yes. He has a magical power that can create miracles and turn the impossible into the possible. The first elder stroked his beard and agreed. Rumble. Outside the back mountain, the rumbling sounds became louder and louder. The enchantment shook violently. Countless runes on it exploded, leaving only a thin layer. Outside the back mountain, one could vaguely see a figure in the air, exuding a terrifying aura. He was attacking the enchantment. There seemed to be thunder exploding in the sky. The light in the void was scorching, and a sea of fire rose. A sun was floating in it, and it crashed into the barrier. Additionally, it would appear that the human silhouette outside the barrier was capable of identifying the nodes of the Grand Longevity God Seal Array. Every attack from the human silhouette was aimed at the weakest points of the barrier, causing it to grow weaker and weaker. Countless runes began bursting apart and the barrier gradually grew dim. Rumble. With a final loud bang, the originally powerful barrier was completely shattered. Outside the barrier, a powerful figure slowly walked through the air, accompanied by an indifferent and calm voice. Sect leader Nangong, I'm glad I didn't let you down. Can you show me the true appearance of the treasures in this forbidden area? A young figure soared through the sky. Every step he took caused ripples to appear in the void. Radiance flowed all over his body as he stood in the void like a godly king, exuding a powerful and invincible aura. He wore a set of golden battle armor. His figure was slender and handsome. Faint red clouds lingered around his body, and a mysterious sea of fire appeared behind him as if it wanted to burn the sky. Especially his eyes, they were incomparably deep. It was as if the sun had just been born, and the scene of chaos filled the air. It encompassed the heaven and earth, mysterious and unfathomable. He stood there, exuding an aura as vast as the sea. It was as if the entire heaven and earth were trembling under his feet. It made people want to kneel down. He was the sun god, the great sun god. He looked at Nangong Xian. His voice was very calm, and his gaze was indifferent. One look and one could tell that he was a determined and confident person. My apologies, nephew sun god. The back mountain is the forbidden area of the Changsan sect. Those who are not disciples of the Changsan sect are not allowed to enter. Please leave. Nangong Xian and the great elder stood up. Their green robes fluttered in the wind, and a faint light surged in their eyes as they looked at the sun god. Oh! Does that mean Sect Master Nangong is not going to keep the agreement? The sun god's gaze was very calm. He was not angry at all. Nangong Xian looked at the sun god and smiled faintly. Nephew sun god, I didn't promise you that I would let you see any treasures if you broke the array. I only said that if you broke the array, you could enter the back mountain. Now that you've entered, please leave. Nangong Xian's voice was very firm. A vast and mysterious aura surged around him, and an endless sword intent was born from it. It was extremely pure. Sect Master Nangong, you're in the wrong. I just want to experience it. Could it be that Sect Master Nangong can't even satisfy this request? The sun god's gaze flickered as he spoke emotionlessly. I'm sorry, but I can't. Nangong Xian said emotionlessly. The sun god's eyes shone with a blazing light. If that's the case, then I'll have to experience Sect Master Nangong's ultimate technique. I'm sure that if I defeat Sect Master Nangong, no one in the Changsun sect will dare to stop me. The sun god's voice was very calm, but it was filled with an oppressive dominance. You can try. Nangong Xian's eyes flashed with sword radiance as he stared at the sun god without backing down. Boom! A powerful aura surged from the sun god's body. An endless amount of heat waves filled the air. Behind the sun god, there seemed to be a sea of fire burning the sky. A mysterious sun slowly rose, causing the space to tremble. Wang! Nangong Xian's eyes revealed a trace of seriousness. Faint sword will surged around him. Countless tiny sword rays appeared in the air, mysterious and unfathomable. They vaguely converged into a sword domain and began to surge. It was like an invisible battle. The entire back mountain was enveloped in an oppressive atmosphere. The battle between the sun god and Nangong Xian was about to start. This is the Changsun sect's forbidden ground. Who do you think you are? How dare you barge into the Changsun sect's forbidden ground? Do you want to die? A cold and emotionless voice resounded in the air. From afar, Ling Xiao and the others walked over and appeared outside the back mountain. Ling Xiao's robe was whiter than snow. He was tall and slender, and he exuded an aura that seemed to be able to split the heavens. He stood there and stared at the sun god in the air. Who are you? The sun god's expression was cold. He looked at Ling Xiao emotionlessly. The Changsun sect's holy son, Ling Xiao. Sun god, get the hell out here. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and stomped his foot. The ground rumbled and a dragon's roar filled the air. In the air, a mysterious aura intertwined. A bolt of heavenly purple lightning that exuded an aura that could destroy everything smashed towards the sun god. Chapter 325. The Immortality God's sealing array was activated. With Ling Xiao's current cultivation level, the power of the Immortality God's sealing array was 10 times or even 100 times stronger than before. The murderous intent that filled the void and the purple heavenly thunder that shook the heavens made the sun god's expression turn serious. Boom! Facing the purple heavenly thunder, the sun god's body suddenly emitted a vast aura. He slapped out with his palm and instantly, a blazing light swept out. One could vaguely see a sun rising and colliding with the purple heavenly thunder. Kacha! The divine light exploded and the void rumbled. The majestic heavenly might made Nangong Xian, the great elder, and even Xia Huang reveal a trace of shock in their eyes. This was especially so for Xia Huang. He had once witnessed the terrifying scene of Ling Xiao activating the power of the dragon vein. And now, this great longevity god sealing array was actually stronger than Ling Xiao activating the power of the dragon vein. Boom! The sun exploded and the purple lightning spread out. A terrifying destructive force exploded, forcing the sun god to retreat from the forbidden area. The Immortality God's sealing array. I didn't expect the Immortality sect to have such an array. With your cultivation level, you can actually use the purple heavenly thunder. Looks like I've underestimated you. The sun god's gaze fell on Ling Xiao and there was a trace of surprise in his voice. Since you recognize the immortality God's sealing array, you should know the relationship between the Sun Moon Star sect and the immortality sect. You shouldn't be so rude. Ling Xiao stepped into the void, step by step. Golden lotuses flashed under his feet. His robe was whiter than snow and there was a faint purple heavenly thunder surging around him. He looked directly at the sun god with a sharp gaze. Ling Xiao heaved a sigh of relief. Fortunately, he had arrived in time. It looked like the sun god hadn't entered the forbidden area and probably didn't know about the path understanding tree. Otherwise, with the relationship between the Sun Moon Star sect and the Immortality sect, the sun god might have recognized the origin of the path understanding tree. If that happened, it would be troublesome. The path understanding tree was known as the #1 spiritual root in the world, and the path understanding fruit it bore could even be called a top-notch sacred medicine. It was the foundation of the holy land of the martial way. It could be said that as long as the path understanding tree existed, even an unrated sect would be able to grow into a holy land of the martial way with enough time. If the news were to leak out, those martial way holy lands and supremes wouldn't be able to sit still. There would definitely be a bloody battle then. With the immortality sect's current strength, the path understanding tree. Origin. The so-called origin, after such a long time, has long dissipated like smoke. Moreover, the current Changsun sect is not qualified to talk about the so-called origin. The sun god's eyes were indifferent, and his voice was emotionless. Ling Xiao sneered heavenly thunder. 10,000 years ago, the sect leader of the Sun Moon Stars sect was called Shang Guanming. He was a demonic Tao Titan at that time. In the end, he was subdued by the sky-devouring Supreme and was bestowed with the Sun Moon Stars scripture. The ancestral teachings of the Sun Moon Star sect were to be forever loyal to the longevity sect's holy sun. They had to ensure that the longevity sect's bloodline would never be severed. Am I right? The Sun Moon Star sect's disciples, Nangong Xian, and the Great Elder were stunned. Although they knew that the Sun Moon Star sect and the Immortality sect had a relationship, they didn't expect it to be like this. Didn't that mean that the Sun Moon Star sect was originally under the Immortality sect? Thinking of this, the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect revealed a look of disbelief. On the other hand, the disciples of the Longevity sect were a little excited. What a joke! Our Sun Moon Star sect is a righteous sect. How could sect master Shangguan be a demon way person? Our Sun Moon Star sect is the martial way holy land of the 8 Desolates region. How could we listen to your immortality sect? The sun god said calmly. His eyes were cold. Senior brother sun god is right. Ling Xiao must be out of his mind. Who does the immortality sect think they are? How could we listen to them? That's right. He offended senior brother sun god. He's dead meat. Senior brother sun god, kill this brat. Lu Yang and the other Sun Moon Star sect's disciples looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Their eyes were filled with killing intent. It's no use denying it. The sect's ancestral teachings are engraved on the steel of sun and moon. It's okay if others don't know about it. But as the sun god of this generation, you should know about it, right? Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His lips curled into a mocking smile. You know about the steel of sun and moon? The sun god's eyes flashed as if he wanted to see through Ling Xiao's heart. However, Ling Xiao's expression didn't change. He stood in the air and looked at the sun god. The sun god was very unhappy. He was a peerless genius of the 8 Desolation region, one of the top experts of the younger generation. His cultivation had long reached the celestial realm, but Ling Xiao was only at the first level of the supreme power realm. If it weren't for the immortality of God's sealing array, the sun god would have killed Ling Xiao with one slap. How could he be so arrogant? However, Ling Xiao's words shocked the sun god. The steel of sun and moon was the most mysterious existence in the Sun Moon Star sect. Only the sect leader, Supreme Elder and a few others knew about it. It was said that it contained the inheritance left behind by the ancestors of the Sun Moon Star sect. Moreover, The stele did record the relationship between the Sun-Moon-Star sect and the Immortality sect. The sun god was silent. Seeing the sun god's silence, the disciples of the Sun-Moon-Star sect were stunned. What was the stele of sun and moon? Could it be that Ling Xiao was right? Ling Xiao, you have to know that the Immortality sect is no longer the Immortality sect of 10,000 years ago. The Sun-Moon-Star sect is no longer the Sun-Moon-Star sect of 10,000 years ago. In this world, strength is everything. Do you think that you can control the Immortality God's sealing array? The sun god looked at Ling Xiao indifferently. A powerful aura spread out from his body. It was like the might of the heavens. The scorching light was dazzling, making him look like a sun god. You're right. In this world, strength is everything. However, the Immortality sect looked down on the 8 Desolation region 10,000 years ago. It's possible that they can restore their glory after 10,000 years. Does the Sun-Moon-Star sect want to go against the teachings of your ancestors? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He had a peerless demeanor that made people admire him. Restore our glory? With just you guys? The sun god looked at Ling Xiao, Nangong Xian, First Elder and the others with a hint of mockery in his eyes. Let's talk about it after you leave the 8 Desolation region. The teachings of the ancestors of the Sun-Moon-Star sect are followed by everyone. However, we are following the saint of the Immortality sect 10,000 years ago, not you. The aura of the sun god spread out and pressed towards Ling Xiao as if he was going to suppress him. Chapter 326. Is that so? When I pull out the stele of sun and moon, it will be the time for the sun and moon star sect to submit to me. Ling Xiao said indifferently. There was an unparalleled sharpness around him that broke the sun god's aura. It was like a divine light that could split the heavens and earth. It was unstoppable. When you can pull out the stele of sun and moon, then you can talk big. The sun god's eyes flashed with a cold light, and a faint killing intent filled the air. He was shocked. The stele of sun and moon was the most precious treasure of the sun and moon star sect. It was said that it was left behind by the sky-devouring supreme. Only the holy son of the Changsun sect could activate it. This was a secret. How could Ling Xiao know about it? However, the sun god didn't think that Ling Xiao could pull out the stele of sun and moon. After all, the Changsun sect was no longer as strong as it used to be. The Changsun sect's inheritance had been cut off. No matter how talented Ling Xiao was, he couldn't pull out the stele of sun and moon. Ling Xiao and the sun god's eyes were like lightning as they clashed in the void. Sparks flew in all directions and a powerful aura spread out. Boom! The aura from the two of them was like a giant wave that swept across all directions. They clashed in the void. The aura from the sun god was like the sun true fire. It was vast and majestic. It was extremely aggressive and swept across all directions. Ling Xiao was like a peerless divine sword that emitted unparalleled sword radiance. It was as if he was going to break everything. He clashed with the sun god and was not at a disadvantage. The aura from the two of them surged. The disciples below turned pale and their eyes were filled with disbelief. Ling Xiao can actually compete with senior brother sun god. How is this possible? A Sun-Moon-Star sect's disciple had a look of disbelief in his eyes. It's the power of the array. Ling Xiao is no match for senior brother sun god with his own strength. Lu Yang's eyes flashed as he saw the purple lightning surging around Ling Xiao. The sun god is also a bloodline martial artist. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Although the sun god's cultivation was only at the 3rd level of the celestial realm, Ling Xiao felt that he was as unfathomable as the pure yang spiritual master and Ling Juechen. Ling Xiao felt that the sun god's bloodline had an extremely strong yang energy. It should have a yang attribute bloodline power. With the sun god's terrifying cultivation, the true sun technique, and all sorts of powerful martial arts, if Ling Xiao wanted to defeat him, he would have to pay a heavy price even if he took out the devouring sky sword. The sun god was indeed very strong. Ling Xiao, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have the God-sealing longevity array. The Sun Moon Star sect will not tolerate such humiliation. The sun god took a step forward in the sky and the earth rumbled. A gigantic sun rose behind him, emitting a blinding light. The sun god wore golden armor and his black hair fluttered in the wind. His eyes were like lightning and there was a golden glow above his head. He walked like a dragon and a tiger, like a sun god. An unparalleled aura pressed down on Ling Xiao, and a strong fighting spirit began to rise. You're the arrogant one, not me. My Changsun sect won't allow you to humiliate us either. Sun God, do you dare to fight? Ling Xiao's eyes were filled with the desire to fight. His blood was boiling. The Sun God was an extremely powerful opponent. Even Ling Xiao felt threatened by him. However, this kind of opponent not only did not make Ling Xiao feel afraid, but it also made him feel a strong fighting spirit. The fight between geniuses began in the Eight Desolates region. Fight! The sun god only spat out one word, but it was like a clap of thunder. As the sun god took another step, the sky was filled with scorching light. It was like a sun was slowly pressing down on the people in front of it. Even Nangong Xian's expression changed when he felt the sun god's aura. Even though he had cultivated the longevity supreme scripture, he still felt that he was no match for the sun god. If Ling Xiao hadn't come, he wouldn't have been able to stop the sun god from entering the back mountain. Ha ha ha. The Sun Moon Star sect and the Changsun sect are family. Why do you two have to fight? It's just hurting your relationship. At that moment, an old laughter rang out in the sky. Whoosh! A white-haired elder in a red robe appeared in the sky. He looked dignified and elegant, and his eyes were filled with wisdom. He looked at the sun god and Ling Xiao and waved his hand. Suddenly, a vast force of heaven and earth spread out, separating Ling Xiao and the sun god. This is the power of the noble plane. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the old man in red. He could feel the old man's terrifying cultivation. He was a true noble plane cultivator. Not only did he control the will of heaven and earth, but he also condensed the martial way primordial spirit. Zhou Tian was one, and he was a noble plane cultivator. This is the Grand Elder of the Sun Moon Star sect, Peng Zihao. His cultivation is unfathomable, and he's already a noble plane cultivator. You must be careful. Nangong Xian whispered to Ling Xiao. Peng Zihao's gaze landed on Ling Xiao with a hint of surprise and admiration. He smiled and said, You are Ling Xiao. I heard that you defeated Shi Tianluo when you were in the Dragon Tiger realm. You're indeed a young hero. If you're willing, I can make you a true disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. The disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect were stunned. The Grand Elder wanted to make Ling Xiao a true disciple of the Sun Moon Star sect. This was the first time they had received such treatment. Immediately, everyone looked at Ling Xiao with envy. Nangong Xian and the Grand Elder looked terrible. Peng Zihao was trying to poach Ling Xiao in front of them. He was too rude. However, Peng Zihao was a noble plane cultivator. No matter how unhappy they were, they didn't dare to say anything. Ling Xiao looked at Peng Zihao and smiled faintly. Thank you for your kindness, Grand Elder. I'm doing well in the Changsun sect. I believe that the Changsun sect will surpass the Sun Moon Star sect in the future. Peng Zihao smiled and said, It's good for young people to be aggressive. However, you should act according to your ability. Since you're not willing, I won't force you. Sun God, why did you enter the forbidden area of the Changsun sect? Peng Zihao looked at the Sun God and asked slowly. Ling Xiao looked at Peng Zihao's serious face and felt disgusted. Peng Zihao must have known that the Sun God had attacked the boundary of the forbidden area. He just jumped out when he saw that the situation couldn't be resolved. Otherwise, Peng Zihao wouldn't have cared about the Sun God's actions. Grand Elder, I feel that there's a treasure in the forbidden area that has a lot to do with the Sun Moon Star sect. The Sun God said faintly. Peng Zihao's eyes flashed. Oh. What treasure? Chapter 327. Sect leader Nangong, what treasures do you have in the back mountain? Can you let us take a look? Peng Zihao smiled and looked at Nangong Xian. Nangong Xian smiled bitterly and said, I'm sorry, Elder Peng. The back mountain was left behind by the sky-devouring Supreme. Other than the sect leader and the Holy Sun, no one else is allowed to enter. I can't break the rules. Peng Zihao smiled and said, I see. If that's the case, then forget it. However, the immortal secret territory is about to open. Our sects are on the same side. If sect leader Nangong has any detailed information, please let us know immediately. I thank you. Nangong Xian smiled and said, Elder Peng, you're welcome. I will. Alright, if that's the case, Sun God, let's go. Peng Zihao smiled and nodded as he looked at the Sun God. Seeing that Peng Zihao did not pursue the matter, the Sun God did not say anything. Before he left, he looked at Ling Xiao and said, Stay away from the Moon God. Compared to her, you're like a firefly to the moon. You're from two different worlds. I hope you don't embarrass yourself. I don't think you need to worry about who I'm close to. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said nonchalantly. Take care of yourself. The Sun God said indifferently. There was a hint of killing intent in his eyes as he turned and left the back mountain. Zhao Ritian, who was standing behind Ling Xiao, was dumbfounded. He had wanted the Sun God to help him take down Ling Xiao and steal the 9 heavens spiritual herb. However, he did not expect Ling Xiao to be able to fight the Sun God head-on. Zhao Ritian was so shocked that his eyeballs almost fell to the ground. He had forgotten to complain to the Sun God. Now that he saw the Sun God and the disciples of the Sun Moon Star sect leaving, he quickly followed after them. Seeing that Peng Zihao and the Sun God had left, Nangong Xian and the First Elder heaved a sigh of relief. Ling Xiao, you're finally back. I didn't expect your cultivation to have increased so much. You're about to surpass us old men. Nangong Xian and the Great Elder looked at Ling Xiao with shock and emotion in their eyes. They had heard that Ling Xiao had defeated Shi Tianluo, but they couldn't believe it. Now that they saw with their own eyes that Ling Xiao's cultivation had reached LV1 of the Grandmaster realm, and that he could use the power of the Longevity God's sealing array to fight against the Sun God, they felt like they were in a dream. Nangong Xian and the First Elder realized that Ling Xiao had grown at a terrifying speed during his trip to the Great Desolation Ancient Kingdom. Sect Leader, Great Elder, you flatter me. Ling Xiao smiled as he looked at Xia Huang and the others and said, Let me introduce you. This is the Great Wilderness's monarch, Xia Huang. This is the Great Wilderness's imperial preceptor, Ling Juechen. This is the Spiritual Herbs Pavilion's master, Spiritual Herbs Pavilion. Nangong Xian and the First Elder were both shocked. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Chunyang Zhenren were all half a step away from the noble plane. In the past, they wouldn't even have dared to imagine that they would come to the Changsun sect. What surprised them was that Sky Sword Li Ling was actually persuaded by Ling Xiao to join the Changsun sect and become the elder protector of the Changsun sect. This was the first celestial realm elite in the Changsun sect, so they naturally wouldn't disagree. After exchanging some pleasantries, Nangong Xian asked the Longevity sect's disciples to bring Xia Huang and the rest to the courtyard to rest. On the other hand, Ling Xiao, Nangong Xian, and the Great Elder went to the forbidden area at the back of the mountain. Inside the valley, white mist was dense, and propitious vapors were rising. The white mist was made up of spirit energy that was so dense that it had materialized and contained an incomparably pure energy. Hundreds of flowers were blooming in the valley. There were all kinds of exotic flowers and herbs, and some of them even had medicinal effects that were decades or even centuries old. The spiritual herbs in the valley were all planted by the Great Elder, because he realized that the growth rate of the spiritual herbs in the valley was 10 times or even 100 times that of the outside world. Because of the Tree of Path Understanding, everything in the valley was different. There was a mysterious fluctuation that was like a mysterious mark that was telling the truth of heaven and earth. Ling Xiao saw that in the center of the valley, the tree of path understanding was more than 3 meters tall. Its branches and leaves were luxuriant, and its entire body emitted a sparkling luster. It was as green as jade, and there were mysterious patterns on its leaves. One look at it and one would fall into a state of enlightenment. Strands of red light lingered around it, and the branches of the tree of path understanding drooped down slightly. They were like divine chains that pierced into the unknown void, and were extracting endless energy. This was another magical effect of the tree of path understanding. It could insert its branches into layers of the void, and extract endless energy from time and space to nourish itself. Standing under the tree of path understanding, it was as if all the distracting thoughts had disappeared. One's entire body was clean, as if all the dust had been cleansed. One's Tao heart also became clear. Whoosh! Ling Xiao took a deep breath and felt comfortable all over. All the pores on his body opened up, and his entire body relaxed. I didn't expect the tree of path understanding to grow so quickly. It seems like the new life after the destruction has caused some mysterious changes to the tree of path understanding. Ling Xiao looked at the tree of path understanding in front of him, and there was a hint of surprise in his eyes. Ling Xiao, you're right. This tree of path understanding is indeed the first spiritual root. It has the miraculous effect of allowing one to enter a state of enlightenment at any time. Today, Qing'er, Jianwuk, Zuozhen, and the rest have all improved tremendously because of the tree of path understanding. They're about to break through to the master realm. Nangong Xian's face also revealed a hint of emotion. The longer he cultivated under the tree of path understanding, the more he understood the meaning of the first spiritual root. This tree of path understanding was the foundation of the Changsun sect's rise, and it could not be lost. The essence of the tree of path understanding was the path understanding fruit. It was the top sacred medicine of heaven and earth, and it stole the fortune of heaven and earth. The tree of path understanding that did not bear fruit was already so miraculous. What kind of heaven-defying effect would the path understanding fruit bear? Nangong Xian and the first elder were looking forward to it. Therefore, we must strictly control the people who enter the forbidden area of the back mountain. They must be absolutely loyal to the sect, and only those who have made great contributions can enter to cultivate. This must not be known to the other martial arts sanctuaries. The first elder's eyes revealed a hint of seriousness. Peng Zihao alone was enough to make the entire Changsun sect feel like they were facing a great enemy. There were also many noble realm experts in the martial arts holy lands. If the news was leaked, the Changsun sect would definitely not be able to fend off so many noble realm experts. Sect leader, first elder, don't worry. This time, I will strengthen the Changsun God Sealing Array, and use the Tree of Path Understanding as the eye of the array. When the time comes, even if a noble realm expert dares to cause trouble, he will not be able to return alive. Ling Zhao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness. If he had not returned in time today, the Sun God would have discovered the Tree of Path Understanding. Given the relationship between the Sun Moon Stars sect and the Changsun sect, the Sun God should be able to recognize the origin of the Tree of Path Understanding. If that happened, it would be troublesome. Even if Ling Xiao had the sky-devouring sword, he would definitely die if he faced a noble realm expert. Chapter 328. Rumble. The entire Longevity Mountain trembled. A mysterious ripple spread out from the forbidden area behind the mountain. It was as if the entire world had been enveloped by it. Ling Xiao stood before the Epiphany tree and formed a seal with his hands. Powerful sky-devouring dipper energy spread out from his body. He used the power of his martial path primordial spirit to communicate with the Longevity God Sealing Array, preparing to strengthen the array. The Longevity God Sealing Array was originally set up by Ling Xiao and Jin Sei. 10,000 years ago, it had the power to suppress supremes and slay gods and demons. After 10,000 years, the Longevity God Sealing Array had lost most of its power. However, the foundation was still there. Ling Xiao believed that one day, the Longevity God Sealing Array would regain its power from 10,000 years ago, or even become stronger. Rise! Ling Zhao's eyes shone brightly as the earth trembled. Endless amounts of earth qi surged and intertwined with the light emitted by the path understanding tree. It was as if countless divine chains of order were formed, connecting heaven and earth. It was extremely mysterious. In the void, purple lightning flashed. Rays of sword light spread out like an endless sea of swords. Ling Zhao was lifted up by the power of heaven and earth. With the Epiphany Tree as the foundation, he mobilized the draconic earth qi of Longevity Mountain and the endless spiritual energy of heaven and earth to strengthen the Longevity God Sealing Array. An ancient and powerful fluctuation enveloped the Longevity Mountain, causing everyone's eyes to reveal a look of extreme shock. On a peak of Longevity Mountain, the Sun God and Peng Zihao opened their eyes. There was a trace of seriousness in their eyes. The Longevity God Sealing Array's power is increasing. Looks like there really is an incredible treasure in the forbidden area behind the mountain. The Sun God's eyes shone brightly. He was very familiar with the Longevity God Sealing Array. Although this supreme divine array had shocked the heavens 10,000 years ago, it had become incomparably weak. Otherwise, the Sun God wouldn't have been able to break through the barrier of the forbidden area. The Longevity God Sealing Array needed a divine item as its core. The more precious the item, the more terrifying its power. 10,000 years ago, the Longevity God Sealing Array was able to unleash the power to slay gods and demons because of the Epiphany Tree, the first Khanate spiritual root. Now, he could feel that the aura of the Immortality God Seal Array was getting stronger and stronger. This confirmed the Sun God's guess that there must be an incredible treasure in the back mountain. Perhaps. However, our top priority is the Immortal Secret Land. We shouldn't complicate matters. This time, the Immortal Secret Land might contain the inheritance of the Sky-Devouring Supreme and the Immortal Paragon. You must get one of them. That's the foundation of our Sun-Moon-Star sect's indestructibility. Peng Zihao's eyes flashed as well. It was as if he could see through the void and saw Ling Zhao's figure in the forbidden grounds. The Sun God nodded and said, "Don't worry, Supreme Elder. Given the relationship between the Sun-Moon-Star sect and the Changsun sect, the inheritance of the Sky-Devouring Supreme will definitely be mine." Even the Sun God couldn't help but feel excited when he thought about the inheritance of the Sky-Devouring Supreme, the unrivaled expert who had swept through the heavens 10,000 years ago. If he could obtain the inheritance of the Sky-Devouring Supreme, he would have a chance to step onto the path of martial arts and reach the pinnacle of martial arts, becoming a Supreme. That's right. The Sun-Moon-Star sect is determined to get the inheritance of Sky-Devouring Supreme and Longevity Supreme. At that time, the sect leader and I will do our best to help you and the Moon God. This is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. We can't miss it. That's right, said the Sun-Moon-Star sect. Peng Zihao said slowly with a sharp look in his eyes. The two of them fell silent again, especially the Sun God. His body was covered in red flames and the divine light of the sun was dazzling. He was engulfed in the essence of heaven and earth and entered a mysterious state. He gave up on observing the changes in the Immortal God Sealing Array. Boom! After an unknown period of time, the entire Immortal Mountain trembled slightly. The sea of lightning and the sword radiance disappeared at the same time. Only then did the Immortal God Sealing Array calm down. Wang! A mysterious fluctuation spread out. At this moment, the tree of path understanding looked different. It was as if it was intertwined with countless divine chains of order. Every leaf was sparkling and translucent. The entire tree emitted a divine light, making people feel as if they were floating in the air. Moreover, the path understanding chi was getting thicker. It was as if they could feel the true meaning of martial arts at any time. Ling Zhao took a deep breath and opened his eyes slowly. There was a trace of fatigue in his eyes. Even though he had formed the martial path primordial spirit, activating the Immortal God Sealing Array consumed a lot of primordial spirit power. Sect Leader, First Elder, I've used the Tree of Path Understanding as the foundation and mobilized the Longevity Dragon Vein to strengthen the power of the God Sealing formation. Even a noble realm expert would not be able to break through the defense of the formation. Celestial realm experts would definitely die. With the protection of the formation, our longevity sect will have an additional layer of protection. Ling Xiao looked at Nangong Xian and Great Elder and smiled. Even noble realm experts can't break through. Nangong Xian's eyes were filled with shock. However, as the sect leader of the immortal sect, he could naturally feel the terrifying power of the immortal god's sealing array. It made him tremble in fear. Ling Xiao took out the immortal peach tree and planted it in the valley. With the path understanding chi from the path understanding tree, the immortal peach tree could grow rapidly. Although the immortal peach tree couldn't be compared to the path understanding fruit, it was still a top-grade king medicine. It was extremely precious to the immortal sect. Nangong Xian and Great Elder were almost numb. They were shocked by Ling Xiao's endless methods. With so many treasures, if it wasn't for Ling Xiao, they would have been snatched away by the martial path Holy Lands. They were extremely grateful that the sky-devouring Supreme Patriarch had appeared and sent such a monstrous disciple to the immortal sect. The enchantment of the back mountain was also strengthened. Ling Xiao had also taught Nangong Xian the secret control technique. Even Peng Zihao couldn't break the enchantment, let alone the sun god. After all, the path understanding tree was too precious. Ling Xiao had to be careful. Ling Xiao, Nangong Xian, and Great Elder walked out of the back mountain. Outside the valley, Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, Zhuo Zhen, Deng Yalan, Deng Tianda, and many other elders and disciples of the immortal sect were waiting outside. When they heard the news of Ling Xiao's return, they were all extremely excited. Ling Xiao was now the idol of all the disciples in the immortal sect. Ling Xiao, you're back. Nangong Qing was dressed in white with a long sword on her back. Her hair was like a waterfall and she was still as cold as a fairy. However, when she saw Ling Xiao, her bright eyes revealed a trace of excitement. She smiled at Ling Xiao. In an instant, the sky lost its color. All the disciples stared blankly. This eldest senior sister was a famous ice and snow fairy. Who would have thought that there would be a time when she would smile? Chapter 329. That's right, I'm back. Ling Xiao smiled. Looking at Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, and the other familiar faces, he felt that their cultivations had undergone a qualitative change this time around. Nangong Qing and Jian Wuk had the highest cultivation. They had already reached the peak of the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. They were only one step away from entering the Grandmaster realm. Zhuo Zhen, Deng Yalan, Wang Chuanxiong, Gu Zhong, Wang Han, and the other Changxing sect disciples that Ling Xiao was familiar with had also reached the Dragon Tiger realm. Ling Xiao knew that these disciples were all loyal to the Changxing sect. They must have been the first batch to enjoy the benefits of the path understanding tree. That was why their cultivation had risen so quickly. Saint, I heard that Shi Tian Luo died at your hands. I thought that we could still catch up to you, but it seems like the gap is even bigger. Jian Wuk laughed bitterly. There was a trace of shock in his eyes. Didn't you see? Just now, even the arrogant sun god was only able to match the holy sun in terms of aura. The holy sun will become a supreme being sooner or later. Deng Yalan said excitedly. He described the confrontation between Ling Xiao and the sun god, and the eyes of all the disciples were filled with shock and fanaticism. The sun god was a genius expert of the celestial realm. They had never seen an expert of this level before, and the holy sun was actually able to contend with a celestial realm expert. Didn't that mean that the holy sun also had the battle prowess of a celestial realm expert? Deng Yalan, I haven't seen you for so long. You haven't learned anything else, but your flattery skills are getting better and better. Ling Xiao looked at Deng Yalan and scolded him with a smile. Deng Yalan chuckled and rubbed his head. I'm telling the truth. The sun god was so much older than the saint. He was simply living like a dog. Deng Yalan had been bullied by the Sun Moon Star sect disciples before, so he naturally didn't have a good impression of them. Now, he could finally hold his head high. The pressure on the sun-moon-star sect was also reduced by a lot. Ling Xiao and Nangong Qing exchanged a few pleasantries. His gaze swept across the crowd, and a trace of doubt appeared in his eyes. Where is Xue Wei? Ling Xiao originally thought that Xue Wei would definitely come over after hearing the commotion. However, he didn't see Xue Wei. Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk and the others' expressions changed when they heard Ling Xiao's question. What's going on? What happened to Xue Wei? Ling Xiao's gaze turned cold, and so did his voice. Holy Sun, I'm fine. Miss Xue Wei is in the Brocade Pagoda, but the Brocade Pagoda is now occupied by the Moon Goddess. Deng Yalin braced himself and said. What? A sharp glint appeared in Ling Xiao's eyes as he exuded a powerful aura that swept out in all directions. Faintly, a powerful dragon's might filled the air. Many disciples and even the elders of the Changsun sect could feel the vast aura from Ling Xiao. Their bodies trembled and their eyes were filled with astonishment. The saint was really strong. Nangong Qing hurriedly said, Ling Xiao, don't worry. Xue Wei is fine. Although the moon goddess has occupied Jin's pavilion, she spends most of her time cultivating. Miss Xue Wei seems to have a good relationship with her. Hearing Nangong Qing's words, the coldness in Ling Xiao's eyes lessened slightly, but he still turned into a ray of light and flew towards Jin's pavilion. Let's go take a look too. Nangong Xian pondered for a moment, and many disciples and elders quickly followed. In the valley where Jin's pavilion was located, there was a quiet bamboo forest, a waterfall, and a spiritual mist. It was very peaceful. Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. Like a golden lightning, he swept past the bamboo forest in an instant and stood in front of Jin's pavilion. Who's there? Two girls in white stood outside the door. When they saw Ling Xiao appear, they immediately pulled out their long swords and pointed at Ling Xiao with a murderous look. Humph. This is my Jin's pavilion. How dare you stop me? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and two rays of cold light shot out, majestic and sharp. This is Senior Sister Yueshin's place of seclusion. Leave quickly, or you'll lose your life on the spot. The two girls in white were both in the Grandmaster realm. Their eyes were cold, and sword light shot out from their long swords towards Ling Xiao. Lose my life on the spot. Who do you think you are? Get lost. Ling Xiao shouted coldly, and his eyes were filled with coldness. His voice was like thunder, and the two long swords suddenly bent. Boom! Ling Xiao's body emitted a vast aura, and the devouring true qi burst out. The two long swords exploded in an instant, and a powerful force blasted the two girls, sending them flying. They coughed out blood, and their eyes were filled with shock and anger. In their opinion, Ling Xiao was only in the Grandmaster realm, but he could injure them seriously without even moving. How could there be such a terrifying person in the Changsun sect? Ling Xiao didn't even look at the two girls, and walked straight into Jin's pavilion. Whoosh! The two girls in white stood up from the ground, and with their long swords in hand, the sword light burst out and pierced towards Ling Xiao's back. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of killing intent. When he was about to move, a cold voice came from Jin's pavilion. Han Mei, Yuha, stop! When the two girls in white heard the voice, they instantly stopped, put away the long swords in their hands, and stood there respectfully. Creak! The bamboo door was pushed open, and Yueshin, shrouded in light, walked out slowly. Her face was peerless, and she had a unique temperament. She was holding the hand of a girl in a black dress. Her face was very delicate, and her skin was snow-white. She exuded a cold temperament, but the moment she saw Ling Xiao, her eyes were filled with excitement. Young master! The girl in the black dress was Xue Wei. She immediately ran over and plunged into Ling Xiao's arms. Young master, I thought you didn't want Xue Wei anymore. You've been gone for so long, sob sob sob. Xue Wei's little face was filled with grievance, and she hugged Ling Xiao tightly as she sobbed. Silly girl, how could I not want you? Ling Xiao touched Shui Wei's hair lovingly, and said with a smile. At the same time, Ling Xiao felt two soft and elastic things on his chest. He was stunned, and as if he thought of something, he couldn't help but laugh bitterly. This girl has really grown up. Speaking of which, Shui Wei was only a few months younger than Ling Xiao. She was already a 16-year-old girl. Young master, you must not abandon me in the future. After a moment, Shui Wei was a little embarrassed as she wriggled out of Ling Xiao's arms. Her little face was red, but her eyes were firm as she spoke. Okay, I won't abandon you. Ling Xiao smiled slightly. Yueshan stood at the side and looked at Ling Xiao and Shui Wei's intimate appearance with a strange look in her eyes. Yueshan, why are you in Jin's pavilion? Don't you know that this is my residence? Chapter 330. The moon goddess waved her hand, and the two white-clothed girls retreated. She then looked at Ling Xiao, and her eyes revealed a trace of apology. This is indeed my fault, but Shui Wei and I hit it off right away. Living here makes it convenient to teach her. I didn't expect Shui Wei to have the legendary 9 Nether bloodline. You know about the 9 Nether bloodline too? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This was the 8 Desolation region and not the War God continent. Although the 9 Nether bloodline was a top bloodline, it was extremely rare. Ling Xiao was surprised that the moon goddess knew about it. I've read about it in an ancient book. Legend has it that the 9 Nether Supreme from 10,000 years ago was given the title of 9 Nether because he possessed the bloodline of 9 Nether. He was ranked 3rd among the 10 great titled Supreme from 10,000 years ago. He was extremely powerful, second only to the Sky-Devouring Supreme and the True Dragon Supreme. I didn't expect Shui Wei to have the 9 Nether bloodline. The moon goddess said calmly with a hint of surprise in her eyes. She already couldn't see through Ling Xiao. However, she didn't expect the people around Ling Xiao to be so monstrous. The 9 Nether bloodline was the top bloodline and had the potential to become a supreme. It wasn't something that ordinary bloodline warriors could compare to. Ancient book. I didn't expect the moon goddess to know so much. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he said noncommittally. Young Master Ling, to make amends, you might need this. The moon goddess's eyes flashed. She could feel Ling Xiao's displeasure. Her hand flashed as she handed Ling Xiao an ancient jade talisman. What is this? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he casually sent his primordial spirit into it to check. Suddenly, Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This is the 9 Nether scripture. No, only the 9 Nether scripture can be considered a 9 Nether scripture. How did you get this? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with shock for the first time. What was recorded in that piece of ancient jade was none other than the 9 underworld scripture that Supreme 9 underworlds had cultivated. It was a pity that it was incomplete, as there was only a small portion of it. At most, it could be cultivated up to celestial realm. I found this in an ancient relic by accident. Perhaps the owner of this ancient jade was the disciple of the 9 Nether Supreme. That's why he had the 9 Nether scripture. However, this martial art is the most suitable for Shui Wei to cultivate, isn't it? The moon god faintly smiled. Though she was still cold, she looked more real. You're right, this 9 Nether fragment is indeed the most suitable for Shui Wei to cultivate. Alright, I'll take it. Tell me what you want. He didn't believe that the moon goddess would be so generous to take out the 9 Serenities book fragment. Even if it was the 9 Nether incomplete martial technique, it was still comparable to a heaven-tier inferior grade martial technique. Furthermore, it was the first part of the 9 Nether scripture. It was extremely precious. The moon goddess and Ling Xiao did not have a deep relationship. She definitely had a motive for taking out something like this. I hope that you can help me obtain the Sun Moon Star scripture after the Longevity Mystery Land opens. Moon God smiled faintly. Her eyes shone brightly. The stellar scripture of sun and moon. How are you so sure that the celestial scripture is in the longevity mystic realm? Ling Xiao's eyes glinted as he spoke with a deeper meaning. He was surprised that the moon god would make such a request. I'm sure. The longevity mystery land is the longevity sex mystery land. There should be a lot of precious martial arts inside. You know the relationship between the Sun Moonstar sect and the longevity sect. The Sun Moonstar scripture was given to us by the Sky-devouring Supreme. However, the Sun Moonstar sect has lost the star scripture. Hence, I hope that you can help me once. The moon god said solemnly. Ling Zhao's eyes were filled with curiosity. He said, after the secret territory of immortality opens, the noble plane cultivators from the holy lands of martial arts will definitely come. Even if you have the sun and moon star scripture, you should ask your headmaster for help. Why me? Are you so sure that I can help you? I'm sure. The moon god faintly smiled and did not say anything else. All right. If that's the case, I'll help you once if you can find the Sun Moon Star scripture. Ling Zhao nodded. Thank you. If that's the case, I'll take my leave. The moon god glanced at Shui Wei and smiled. Then, she turned and left the pavilion. Young master, Sister Moon God is a good person. She taught me a lot these days. Shui Wei looked at the moon god's departing figure reluctantly. Oh. What did she teach you? Ling Zhao's eyes flashed. Sister Moon God taught me how to cultivate and control the 9 nether qi in my body. Young master, look at my cultivation. Shui Wei smiled and activated her cultivation. Dragon Tiger Realm Level 6. Ling Zhao's body shook and his eyes flashed with disbelief. When Ling Zhao left, Shui Wei was still in the genuine qi realm. In the blink of an eye, she had crossed 2 realms. Ling Zhao felt that it was unreal. Have you started cultivating the 9 nether incomplete manual? It seems that the moon god was not lying. I should really thank her. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed with gentleness. He could see that the genuine qi in Shui Wei's body had been converted into 9 nether genuine qi. Furthermore, she had consumed some precious treasure that could raise her cultivation. It should be the work of the moon god. Shui Wei's current cultivation was only second to Ling Zhao, Nangong Qing, and Jian Wuk among the younger generation of the Changsun sect. If others knew about it, they would be so shocked that their eyeballs would fall to the ground. Even Ling Zhao couldn't help but be envious. Shui Wei's 9 nether bloodline was indeed a top-notch martial bloodline. Young master, I will cultivate well. When my cultivation becomes stronger, I will protect you. Shui Wei raised her tender little fist and said firmly. All right, I'll wait. Ling Zhao said with a smile. After chatting with Shui Wei for a while, Ling Zhao went into seclusion in the pavilion. This time, he was prepared to refine all the peaches of immortality into peach elixirs. Not only could the peach elixir raise one's cultivation, but it could also raise one's aptitude. It could turn a loser into a genius and a genius into a peerless genius. Furthermore, with the help of the peach elixir, Shui Wei might be able to stimulate the 9 nether bloodline and increase her cultivation. Very quickly, Ling Zhao had refined the peach elixirs from the dozen peaches of immortality into more than 40 peach elixirs. The peach elixirs were dazzling with golden light and emitted a mysterious fragrance. The color was like jade and one could tell that it was a top-notch elixir. I already have the aptitude of a king. I wonder if the peach elixir is still useful to me. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he took out a peach elixir and threw it into his mouth. A powerful force exploded. It was vast and gentle as it started to cleanse Ling Zhao's body and replenish his life force. Boom! Chapter 331. The immortality peach tree was also a spiritual root of heaven and earth. Although it was not as good as the tree of enlightenment, it was still a top-notch king medicine. However, Ling Zhao already had the aptitude of a king. The next step was to become an innate supreme and an innate god. This was not something that could be done with just one immortality peach pill. After all, only someone like Shui Wei who had the 9 nether bloodline could be considered an innate supreme. As long as there were no accidents, she would definitely become a supreme in the future. After Ling Xiao had completely refined the immortality peach pill, his cultivation had also broken through from the first level of the Grandmaster realm to the second level of the Grandmaster realm. His life origin was more abundant, but his aptitude did not change much. It seems that this immortality peach pill can only raise one's aptitude to the king realm. It is not of much use to me, but it is extremely valuable to the disciples of the Changsun sect. Ling Xiao thought to himself and ended his seclusion. Outside the Jin's pavilion, Nangong Xian and the first elder were waiting. Sect leader, this is the immortality peach pill. It can raise one's cultivation and allow one to be reborn. Ling Xiao took out half of the immortality peach pill and gave it to Nangong Xian. He then explained the use of the immortality peach pill. There really is a pill that can raise one's aptitude? This is too precious. Nangong Xian and the first elder were shocked. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. However, they were also very excited. With these immortality peach pills, the Changsun sect would be able to cultivate another batch of genius disciples. They were happy to see the Changsun sect become stronger and stronger. Sect leader, I'll leave this batch of immortality peach pills to you. Is there any news about the Changsun secret realm? Ling Xiao asked. This was what he was most concerned about. Nangong Xian's expression became serious. I'm here to tell you about this. Someone has already found the entrance to the Changsun secret realm. The Wanshou sect and the other ancient kingdoms are attacking the formation at the entrance. However, the formation is extremely powerful. Even a noble realm expert would find it difficult to shake it. All the sects have already sent messages back to their sections. I'm afraid that the leaders of the Holy Lands will be here soon. There will be a fierce battle then. The secret territory of longevity has finally appeared. Is it a grand formation? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and a mocking smile appeared on his face. The array at the entrance of the secret territory of longevity was personally set up by him. If they couldn't find a way to break the array, how could it be so easy to force their way in? Saint, there's another piece of news. I heard that someone saw the muddle-headed old man in the ferocious Beast Mountain range. It's very likely that he's here for the secret land of immortality. The first elder said slowly. Ling Xiao was stunned, and a trace of a strange expression appeared in his eyes. I used the identity of the muddle-headed old man's disciple to swindle him, yet this old fellow actually didn't die. Now that he thought about it, it was another matter that gave him a headache. Sect Master, go back and gather all the disciples of the longevity sect. Only those at the spirit transformation realm and above and those who have cultivated the longevity chi refining art can enter the longevity secret realm. Let's prepare and head to the longevity secret realm tomorrow. Everyone, don't worry. The longevity mystic realm is a treasure left for us by the old ancestor. Those people can't open it at all. Ling Xiao's eyes flickered as he spoke slowly. All right. Hearing Ling Xiao's confidence, Nangong Xian also felt a little relieved. He led the disciples out of the Jin's pavilion and prepared to head to the longevity secret realm. Nangong Qing, Jian Wuk, Deng Yalan and the others were also very excited. This was the longevity secret realm, which contained countless treasures. It was the training ground for the disciples of the longevity sect 10,000 years ago. If they could obtain the inheritance of the longevity sect's elders, it would definitely allow the longevity sect to rise rapidly. Ling Xiao looked at Shui Wei, and there was a trace of nervousness in Shui Wei's eyes. She quickly said, "Young master, I want to go too." Ling Xiao smiled and nodded. "All right, I'll bring you along. But you have to be obedient. Refine these 3 immortality peach pellets first and work hard to raise your cultivation. Also, continue to cultivate the longevity chi refining art." Yes, Shui Wei is very obedient. The little girl's face was filled with a bright smile as she nodded repeatedly. Shui Wei swallowed the 3 immortality peach pellets and Ling Xiao used the sky-devouring secret skill to help Shui Wei refine them. He slowly smoothed out her meridians and used the energy of the immortality peach pellets to cleanse her bones and replenish her life force. Originally, the energy of the 3 immortality peach pellets should have been enough to help Xue Wei break through to the 9th level of the Dragon Tiger realm. However, Ling Xiao suppressed her cultivation and did not allow Xue Wei to break through. After all, Xue Wei's cultivation speed was too fast and her foundation was not stable. Divine flesh and jade bones, as expected of the 9 nether bloodline. Ling Xiao sighed. He could see that all the meridians in Xue Wei's body were connected, and her bones emitted a jade-like luster. Her entire body was clear and untainted by even a speck of dust. Moreover, there was a cold, dark, and divine energy permeating her blood vessels. Xue Wei did not need to cultivate much, and he could see that all the pores on her body were open and devouring the essence of heaven and earth. It was as if she had a leakless real body. It was very mysterious. This was the natural talent of a supreme being. Whether it was in his previous life or in this life, Ling Xiao only had an ordinary talent. He relied on his own efforts to become a supreme being. Even when he saw Xue Wei's talent, he could not help but sigh. She was truly the darling of heaven and earth. She had great luck. Finally, when he saw that Xue Wei's cultivation had stabilized, Ling Xiao stopped and turned to leave Jin's pavilion. In the forbidden grounds of the back mountain, Ling Xiao carefully plucked a leaf from the epiphany tree and took out a 10,000-year warm jade. The true devouring fire slowly floated in his palm. The 10,000-year warm jade and the epiphany tree's leaf shone together, emitting a resplendent glow. From the path understanding tree's leaf, dozens of green rays of light were separated and merged into the 10,000 years warm jade. Very quickly, the runes filled the air, and the light of treasures sparkled. Although Ling Xiao did not refine many weapons in this life, it was still very smooth. It was like moving clouds and flowing water. Very quickly, he refined dozens of white jade talismans. Each jade talisman had a trace of green light flowing within it. It looked very mysterious. With these longevity tokens, even if we enter the longevity secret territory to fight for treasures, the survival of the Changsun sect's disciples will be more assured. Ling Xiao took a deep breath and looked at the fearsome beast mountain range in the distance with a hint of anticipation. The next day, all the Changsun sect's disciples gathered at the longevity square early in the morning. Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, and Chunyang Zhenren were chatting happily with Nangong Xian. Sky Sword Li Ling was sitting cross-legged under the longevity paragon statue. His entire body was filled with sword intent, and there was a faint glimmer of sharpness. Ling Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, and Ling Feng were staring at the heaven-devouring paragon statue with a hint of surprise in their eyes. Chapter 332. After Ling Xiao came out of seclusion, the silver-ringed lightning snake on his wrist had finally broken through to a rank 5 demonic beast after devouring the silver thunder python's demonic pill. It became even more dazzling and beautiful. Ling Xiao gave the silver-ringed lightning snake to Xue Wei and planted a slave seal on it. The silver-ringed lightning snake became a silver bracelet on Xue Wei's wrist. The silver-ringed lightning snake was a primordial variant with the bloodline of the true dragon. Not only was it as fast as lightning, but it could also control lightning. It was also highly venomous. Even a celestial realm expert would be severely injured if he was bitten by a rank 5 silver-ringed lightning snake. Ling Xiao was relieved that Xue Wei was going to enter the longevity's secret land with the silver-ringed lightning snake protecting her. Thank you, young master. Xue Wei loved the bracelet so much that she could not bear to part with it. The silver-ringed lightning snake seemed to have sensed Xue Wei's 9 nether bloodline. It was very close to Xue Wei and enjoyed the aura on her. Let's go. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Roar. A loud roar shook the clouds. Ling Xiao released the long-armed ape king and its descendants. Ling Xiao and Xue Wei stood on the long-armed ape king's shoulder and headed to the longevity peak. This is the sound of a demonic beast. Nangong Xian, the great elder, and the rest heard the roar of the long-armed ape king and felt the powerful demonic chi that filled the air. Their eyes were filled with shock. Bang! 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 The peak shook and the demonic chi filled the sky. The ape king's huge body slowly appeared on the longevity square. Everyone's face turned pale when they felt the ferocious demonic chi. A peak rank 6 demonic beast, comparable to a level 9 celestial realm expert. Could it have been tamed by the saint? Many of the Changsan sect's disciples were shocked and excited at the same time. Sect leader, these long-armed ape monkeys are primordial variants with powerful strength. Most of them are rank 5 demonic beasts. Every disciple who is going to the longevity secret land can choose one. They will protect you. Ling Xiao said with a smile. Although these long-armed ape monkeys could not fly, they were fast. They were powerful and could be used as mounts to form an army of ape knights for the longevity sect. Good, good, good. Ling Xiao, I didn't expect you to be able to tame even an archaic variant beast. With these long-armed ape monkeys, our Changxing sect's chances of survival in the Changxing secret territory will increase greatly. Nangong Xian was also very excited. With a command, all the longevity sect disciples immediately came forward to pick their own long-armed ape. Although the long-armed ape monkeys were incomparably ferocious, under the suppression of Ling Xiao and the long-armed ape king, each and every one of them appeared to be very docile and charmingly naive. This made the longevity sect disciples who were trembling with fear instantly feel at ease. Even Ling Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, and Grandmaster Jiao Mu chose a long-armed ape monkey. Young Master Ling, may I have the honor to join you? At this moment, a cold and pleasant voice sounded out. The moon goddess, shrouded in light, walked over with 2 white-clothed girls and an old farmer's servant. Ling Xiao was slightly stunned. Peng Zihao, the sun god, and the others from the Sun-Moon-Star sect had already gone to the fearsome beast mountain range, but the moon god had not left yet. Thoughts ran through his mind. The more he thought about it, the more he could not see through this woman. He smiled and said, "Of course. If the moon goddess does not mind, please join me." "Thank you, young Master Ling." The moon goddess smiled faintly. Her body was lithe, and her clothes were whiter than snow. She stepped on the void, ethereal and otherworldly. In an instant, she arrived on the shoulder of the long-armed ape king and stood beside Ling Xiao. A delicate fragrance wafted over, intoxicating everyone. Ling Xiao and the moon goddess stood side by side, looking like a perfect couple. Everyone's eyes were filled with envy. Ling Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, Nangong Qing, Lu Piapiao, and the other girls had strange looks in their eyes. "Let's go." Ling Xiao smiled faintly, and a sharp glint flashed across his eyes. Roar! 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 Instantly, with the long-armed ape king as the leader, the rest of the long-armed apes thumped their chests, roared loudly, and dashed down the longevity mountain. The mountain range rumbled, and smoke billowed. Everyone stood on the shoulders of the long-armed ape kings, feeling exhilarated and exhilarated. The surrounding scenery flew past, and soon, everyone left the longevity sect and headed towards the fearsome beast mountain range. The entire longevity mountain flashed with light. The great elder stayed behind to guard the mountain gate, and activated the longevity god's sealing array to envelop the entire longevity mountain. In the fearsome beast mountain range, 2 sacred mountains pierced through the clouds, looking majestic. In the middle of the 2 sacred mountains, a dazzling light flashed, and a huge stone gate appeared. The stone gate shone brightly, and runes filled the air, exuding an ancient and mysterious aura. The news of the longevity secret territory's appearance spread across the entire 8 Desolates region in a short period of time. At this moment, there were already many powerful figures in front of the stone gate. They stared at the stone gate, and their eyes were filled with excitement and fear. In front of the stone gate, there were more than a dozen corpses lying in a mess. Some of them had their glabella pierced, some of them were decapitated, and some of them had turned into minced meat. A faint smell of blood permeated the air. Everyone knew that behind the stone gate was the longevity's secret territory, but no one dared to take a step forward. The corpses at the stone gate ranged from the spirit transformation realm to the celestial realm experts. However, without exception, all of them had died in the strange array. It should be known that the sect leaders of many small sects were only at the Grandmaster realm, and the celestial realm experts were considered nobles in the ancient countries. If even such people were dead, who could break the array? Everyone was now looking forward to the arrival of the peerless experts from the martial arts holy lands. They would definitely be able to break the array in one fell swoop. Rumble. The earth shook, and a group of armored horses came from afar. Their eyes were cold, and their killing intent was monstrous. The leader was a middle-aged man wearing a yellow dragon robe and a purple gold crown. His whole body exuded a vast aura. Beside him was a young man wearing a feathered crown. He looked dignified and arrogant, and his cultivation had reached the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm. The king of the great Huang ancient country, Huang Quan, and the first prince, Huang Haifeng, are here. Someone exclaimed with a hint of awe in his eyes. It seems that the king of Huang Quan has broken through to the half-step noble realm, and Huang Haifeng is the top genius of the great Huang ancient country. He has mastered the true dragon technique and reached the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm before the age of 30. His future is limitless. There was a lot of discussion in the crowd. When they saw the armored horses coming, they consciously made way for them. It's just an array. So many people can't break it. What a bunch of trash. Huang Haifeng sneered with disdain. His eyes shone brightly as they fell on the stone gate. His eyes were burning with passion. Rumble. Innate gang chi surged around him, and a dragon-shaped saber appeared in his hand. It exuded a mysterious aura, and he slashed at the stone gate. It's the supreme Taoist weapon, the Hell Dragon Saber. This is the national treasure of the great Huang ancient country. I didn't expect it to be passed down to Huang Haifeng. The Hell Dragon Saber is unparalleled. Perhaps it can break this array. Chapter 333. Rumble. As the Hell Dragon Saber fell, the white saber radiance was dazzling. However, in an instant, countless sharp divine lights shot out from the surroundings of the stone gate. They were extremely fast. Huang Haifeng's expression changed as he felt a fatal threat from those divine lights. Without hesitation, the Hell Dragon Saber wrapped around his body. Saber radiance burst out and struck down those divine lights. Clang! However, those sharp divine lights were like sword radiance. They became denser and stronger. In the end, the Hell Dragon Saber vibrated violently and Huang Haifeng was sent flying dozens of feet away. He spat out blood and crashed to the ground. Cough cough, Huang Haifeng stood up, his eyes filled with horror. He was just at the edge of the array and was almost pierced through by thousands of swords. If he had really entered the array, he would have become one of the corpses on the ground. The key was that he was severely injured before he could see what the array looked like. Ha ha ha. Huang Haifeng, you want to break the array with your little tricks? A wild and unrestrained laughter rang out in the void. Rumble. A black treasure ship came across the sky, emitting a monstrous demonic aura. Its aura was extremely powerful. A black-robed youth with black hair stood on the ship. His aura was wild and evil. His eyes were filled with disdain. Beside him was a middle-aged man in a black dragon robe. He looked majestic and powerful. He emitted a powerful aura that filled the heavens and the earth. It's the Xinzhao Crown Prince and King Hongju of the Great Hong Ancient Country. The Great Hong Ancient Country and the Great Yellow Ancient Country are neighbors. The Xinzhao Crown Prince is the #1 genius of the Great Hong Ancient Country. He and Huang Haifeng have both won and lost. This is going to be a good show. The Xinzhao Crown Prince is already at the peak of level 9 Grandmaster realm. He's only one step away from entering the celestial realm. Everyone's eyes flashed as they recognized the newcomers. They began to discuss softly. Hong Xinzhao, don't be sarcastic. Break the array if you can. Huang Haifeng's eyes were filled with anger as he stared at the Xinjiao crown prince and said coldly. I naturally don't have the ability to break the array. However, I'm not like someone who doesn't know his own limits. This array can't be broken unless one is in the noble realm. Hong Xinjiao said with a faint smile. You. Hong Xinjiao, do you dare to fight with me? Huang Haifeng's eyes grew colder and colder. His battle intent soared as he pointed the Hell Dragon saber at Hong Xinjiao. Do you think I'm afraid of you? But are you sure you're a match for me in your current state? The Crown Prince's eyes flashed. He emitted a monstrous demonic aura. There seemed to be a black demonic axe floating above his head, emitting a soul-stirring light. Right when the two of them were confronting each other, divine light weaved about in the distance. The great earth surged. More people arrived. It was 100 Zhonglong Crimson Flood Dragon, emitting a faint dragon aura. It was actually a peak 6th rank demonic beast, incomparably powerful. A group of extraordinary young men and women stood on top of it. Of the two people in the lead, one wore an azure dragon robe. His black hair fluttered in the wind, his face was handsome, and there was a dragon mark between his eyebrows. He looked domineering and dignified. There seemed to be a mysterious dragon aura around him. His eyes flashed and he emitted an invincible aura. No one dared to look at him directly. The other woman was wearing a red dress. Her figure was very hot. Her thighs were slender and firm, and her waist was small and slender. Especially the two white rabbits in front of her chest, it could make people's blood boil after seeing it. She had a perfect face. Her lips were as red as fire, and her skin was as smooth as jade. She had a unique charm to her. Especially her pair of large eyes that could steal one's soul. As her gaze moved, it caused everyone to be stunned. The Dragon Son and the Phoenix Girl from the Wanshou sect. These two are the top geniuses of the 7 disciples of the Wanshou sect. They're indeed extraordinary and powerful. The Phoenix Girl's peerless appearance can make the world pale in comparison. Perhaps only the moon god from the Sun Moon Star sect can be compared to her. The arrival of the Dragon Son and the Phoenix Girl caused a commotion. Everyone's eyes were filled with awe. In the entire 8 Desolation region, there were only 5 martial sacred grounds, and the Wanshou sect was definitely one of the best. The Dragon Son and the Phoenix Girl would definitely become royal noble experts in the future and dominate a region. Even the arrogant Huang Haifeng, along with the people from the Grand Yellow Ancient Country, quickly went to greet the Dragon Son and the Phoenix Girl with a flattering expression. However, after the people from the Wanshou sect arrived, they didn't do anything. The Dragon Son and the Phoenix Girl chose a peak to land on. They looked at the stone gate in the distance with an indifferent expression. Not long after, the people from the Jade Lake sect, the Grand Mysterious Ancient Country, and the Terminator Demon sect also arrived. The people from the Jade Lake sect and the Grand Mysterious Ancient Country came together. They rode a glazed treasure ship and broke through the sky. Almost all of them were beautiful female disciples. Each of them was tall and had a noble aura. The leader of the group was a woman with a veil covering her face. Her eyes were as bright as the stars. Behind her were several old women with powerful auras. The leader of the Terminator Demon sect was a man wearing black armor. He held a sky-piercer halberd in his hand and emitted a demonic aura. His eyes were indifferent, like a demon god. He stepped on a black rainbow and looked very frightening. It's the young master of the Terminator Demon sect, Mo Kong. This young master is also a ruthless person. Legend has it that when he was at the 9th level of the Grandmaster realm, he killed a celestial being expert. After reaching the celestial being realm, he killed 7 celestial beings in a row and became famous for a period of time. Yes, Mo Kong is the same as the Dragon Son and the Phoenix Girl. They are all the most dazzling geniuses in the entire 8 Desolation region. As more and more geniuses arrived, everyone started discussing in hushed tones. Their eyes were filled with excitement. Normally, the mystical dragon sect was rarely seen in the martial sacred grounds. Now that they were all gathered at the fearsome Beast Mountain range, it was a rare event. In addition to the martial sacred grounds and the 4 ancient countries, there were also some powerful and ancient geniuses from powerful clans. Although these clans usually didn't show their strength, they were still extremely powerful. Although they weren't as strong as the martial sacred grounds, they weren't much weaker than the ancient countries. Rumble. At this moment, lightning flashed in the void, and the torrential ghostly aura spread out, exuding an evil and dark aura. A 100-foot-long skeletal phoenix flew across the sky. It had no flesh and blood, and the ghostly fire in its eyes flickered. It looked very strange. As soon as the skeletal phoenix appeared, the whole mountain range seemed to have fallen into a dead land. Everyone instinctively felt a sense of repulsion and disgust. On top of the skeletal phoenix stood an old man in a black robe and a ferocious mask. He looked like a ghost king, standing there, causing the void to tremble slightly. Behind him stood a group of black-robed men, who also had a ghostly aura, cold and dark. They are, from the Netherworld sect. Someone cried out in surprise, and a trace of shock appeared in his eyes. The Netherworld sect's whereabouts were usually secretive, and it was almost a legend in the 8 Desolates region. Now that they were really seeing them, it felt very surreal. Especially the old man in the lead. He controlled the will of heaven and earth, and his aura was unparalleled. Just by standing there, there was an invincible aura of heaven and earth under his feet. Chapter 334. Is this a formation? The ghostly fire in the masked elder's eyes flickered as he looked at the stone door. Boom! Monstrous ghostly aura permeated the air. The elder stepped out and threw a punch. Unparalleled black divine light converged, and the wind howled. It was as if a huge ghostly hand was reaching out from the void, grabbing at the stone door. Everyone was shocked. This was a noble realm cultivator. He might be able to break the formation outside the mystery zone of longevity. Whoosh! 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 The void trembled slightly and mysterious ripples spread out. Beams of sharp divine light shot out from the void and intertwined like a sea of swords. Boom! The ghostly hand was instantly engulfed by the sharp sword radiance and exploded. Open! The old man roared, and a small black bell appeared in his hand. It grew to a size of 300 meters in the air. The bell rang, emitting fluctuations that made people's souls tremble. It was simple and evil, and it suddenly slammed into the stone door. It's the soul-reaping bell. How could this great array be so terrifying? The highest elder even took out the soul-reaping bell, a supreme doctrine instrument. A Netherworld sect's disciples' eyes flashed with a trace of surprise. Once the soul-reaping bell is used, the formation will be broken. The other disciple of the ghost sect had a look of conviction in his eyes. The sharp divine light landed on the soul-reaping bell and made a sound of metal clashing. Sparks flew everywhere, but it could not do anything to the soul-reaping bell. The soul-reaping bell flew across the sky and was about to hit the stone door. Boom! Suddenly, there was a flash of light in the void, and a huge stone man appeared outside the stone door. His whole body was emitting golden gunmetal sword chi, which condensed together to form a huge golden sword light, slashing down from the sky. The soul-reaping bell trembled violently. The runes on it were dazzling. A huge force came, causing the masked elder's expression to change. Boom! The soul-reaping bell was sent flying hundreds of feet. It buzzed and trembled as it fell into the elder's hand. What kind of formation is this? The old man's expression changed slightly, and a hint of seriousness appeared in his eyes. He could see that the void outside the room was changing, and the power of the 5 elements was flowing. It was a peerless formation formed by invisible forces. What blocked the soul-reaping bell was merely the sword chi formed from the heptametal force. The other 4 origin forces didn't do anything. Is this a formation constructed by an invisible force? Looks like we need at least 5 noble plane cultivators to break the formation. No wonder you're the Changsun sect that ruled the world 10,000 years ago. The old man sighed and put away the soul-reaping bell. He did not continue to attack the formation. Even the noble plain cultivators failed. What kind of formation was this? How can he be so abnormal? Everyone, who was originally eager to give it a try, revealed a trace of shock in their eyes. If even a noble plain cultivator could not break the matrix, then who else could? Could it be that everyone was not fated to enter the secret territory of longevity? Everyone's eyes were filled with disappointment and unwillingness. This was the secret territory of longevity, a treasure trove left behind by the Changsun sect that ruled the world 10,000 years ago. It contained endless treasures, powerful weapons, and supreme inheritances. One could imagine that any treasure in the secret territory of longevity was enough to drive everyone crazy. Boom! 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 Just as the crowd was getting restless, the void began to shake violently, and endless clouds began to roll. 5 monstrous palm prints fell from the sky. They contained the power to destroy everything. Like 5 pillars of divine light, they pierced through the sky and landed on the stone door below. In the void, the wind blew and the clouds surged. 5 powerful silhouettes stood above the 9 heavens, covered in lightning and divine light. Their figures could not be seen clearly, but they emitted a power that made everyone tremble in fear. This is, the supreme headmasters of the 5 holy lands have arrived. Someone exclaimed, and his eyes were filled with excitement. In the entire 8 barren region, only the supreme headmasters of the 5 holy lands could possess such terrifying power. Moreover, one could tell from the aura that they emitted. The one in the south had the starry sky above his head, and his feet stepped on the sun and moon. Divine light shrouded him, and he was elegant and carefree. Obviously, he was the sect master of the Sun-Moon-Star sect. The one in the north had a real dragon coiled around his body, and thousands of beasts roared. He emitted a monstrous demonic aura. He was the supreme headmaster of the Wan Shou sect. The demonic qi in the east was monstrous. He was the sect master of the Terminator demon sect. The divine light in the west was shrouded in divine light, and flowers fell from the sky. He was the supreme headmaster of the Jade Lake sect. The one in the center was dark and cold. He was like the ghost king of the 9 serenities hell, and he controlled the cycle of life and death. He was the sect master of the underworld sect. Although the faces of the 5 powerhouses could not be seen clearly, one could feel the fluctuations of their aura. They were the martial arts of the 5 holy lands. If the sect masters of the 5 holy lands attack together, they will definitely be able to break this strange array. That's right. If the sect masters of the 5 holy lands can't break it, there is no need for us to stay here. Everyone, get ready. Once the array is broken, we will rush in. Everyone was extremely excited. Everyone rubbed their palms and prepared to rush into the secret territory. Boom! The sect masters of the 5 holy lands attacked together. Their aura was shocking. The void shook violently, and endless divine light gushed out. It was as if they were going to smash the stone gate below into pieces. However, the mysterious runes on the stone gate were completely awakened at this moment. Endless runes interweaved, strands of divine chains of order traversed the void. An ancient and mysterious aura awakened. In front of the stone gate, a huge 5 elements diagram appeared. It slowly rotated, describing the truth of the 5 elements. It was like a millstone that rushed into the heavens. Crack! Divine light exploded, and the sky shook. Endless chaotic chi filled the air. It was as if there were giant stars falling from the sky. It was terrifying. The earth-shattering rumble made everyone's ears ring. Their hearts trembled, and their faces turned pale. This was the power of a noble plain cultivator. With one attack, he could turn mountains into ashes. It was terrifying beyond compare. However, when the 5 palm prints disappeared, the stone gate below was still intact. The mysterious five elements diagram was still above the stone gate, and it was emitting ripples that could seal everything. What? Everyone was shocked, and their eyes were filled with disbelief. The sect masters of the five holy lands attacked together, but they could not do anything to this array. Even the five powerhouses above the void looked at this scene with sparkling eyes. They stopped attacking, as if they wanted to see through the array's flaws. Rumble. Chapter 335. On top of every long-armed giant ape, there was a disciple from the Changxing sect. All of them were rushing towards the valley. Especially the leader, the long-armed ape king. His entire body was covered in black hair that resembled steel needles, dazzling and dazzling. He was over 100 feet tall and had a torrential blood aura. Especially his pair of blood-red moon-like eyes, it sent chills down one's spine with a single glance. On top of the long-armed ape king, Ling Xiao held Shui Wei's hand and stood next to the moon goddess. They looked like a perfect couple. Their white robes were purer than snow and they had an extraordinary bearing. They actually have long-armed giant apes as their mounts. Who are these people? Someone's eyes flashed, revealing a trace of surprise. In the entire 8 Desolates region, only the Wanshou sect could tame demonic beasts. These people were obviously not disciples of the Wanshou sect. Yet, they were able to tame so many long-armed giant apes. That kind of ferocious aura caused everyone to be secretly shocked. That's the great Baron King, Xia Huang. And the moon goddess from the Sun Moon Star sect. Someone exclaimed, recognizing Xia Huang and the moon goddess. Especially the moon goddess, she was the pride of the entire 8 Desolates region. Her talent was peerless and her appearance was peerless. She was on par with the Phoenix girl, but her bearing was superior. Many male disciples' eyes fell on the moon goddess, revealing an infatuated look. The moon goddess's white robes were purer than snow, shrouded in the moonlight. She was like a goddess from the moon palace. She was peerless and attracted everyone's attention the moment she appeared. Even the sun god, Dragon Sun, Mo Kong, and the underworld sect's eyes fell on her. Humph, vixen. The Phoenix girl looked at the Dragon Sun beside her, revealing a trace of displeasure in her eyes as she snorted coldly. She and the moon goddess were considered the 2 beauties of the 8 Desolates region. However, the moon goddess's pure and holy aura seemed to have an inexplicable attraction to men. She was always overshadowed by her, causing the Phoenix girl to be extremely displeased. Ling Xiao, Shui Wei, and the moon goddess descended from the long-armed ape king and slowly walked towards the valley. Everyone's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. Who was the young man beside the moon goddess? Why was he walking with the moon goddess? Although that young man looked extraordinarily handsome and had a transcendent aura, many male disciples revealed looks of extreme jealousy. At this moment, Huang Haifeng smiled and walked in front of the moon goddess. Moon goddess, I am Huang Haifeng, the first prince of the great Huang ancient country. I have met you once in the ferocious beast mountain range. Do you remember? Moon god's eyes flashed. She coldly said, I don't remember. Huang Haifeng's face stiffened, but he continued to maintain his smile. However, it didn't look as natural as before. Moon goddess, it's okay if you don't remember. I heard that the secret territory of immortality is full of danger. Why don't you let me follow you and serve you? Huang Haifeng's eyes burned with passion. Ever since he had seen Moon Goddess, he had not been able to forget her. He could not sleep at night. Now that he could see Moon Goddess again, he was extremely excited. No need. She did not even look at Huang Haifeng. She was going to walk forward. Ling Zhao's lips curled into a smile. Moon Goddess's charm was indeed strong, but her personality was a little too cold. However, the smile on Ling Zhao's lips was so dazzling in Huang Haifeng's eyes. Huang Haifeng's face darkened and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Boy, what are you laughing at? Who do you think you are? How dare you stand beside the Moon Goddess? Huang Haifeng's anger seemed to have found a place to vent. He sneered and stretched out his hand to push Ling Xiao. In his opinion, pushing this ungrateful brat to the ground could be considered as getting rid of the anger in his heart. However, when his palm landed on Ling Xiao's body, Ling Xiao did not move an inch. He still had a faint smile on his face. Boom! A powerful force came out. It was vast and majestic. Huang Haifeng's arm trembled and he took a few steps back. Boy, who are you? Huang Haifeng's eyes were filled with shock and anger. The boy in front of him had a freakish physical body. He was like a ferocious beast in human form. Just the force of the force was enough to make him suffer. The holy son of the Changxing sect, Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and a sharp light flashed in his eyes. What? You're Ling Xiao. Didn't you die in the 8 Desolation secret land? Huang Haifeng's body trembled. His eyes were filled with disbelief. However, his gaze instantly turned cold. Very well. You killed my 7th brother, Huang Yunji, in the 8 Desolation secret land. Today, you'll pay with your life. Huang Haifeng exuded a cold aura. The Hell Dragon saber in his hand trembled slightly. Everyone's eyes flashed when they heard Huang Haifeng's words. He's Ling Xiao. The Ling Xiao who defeated Shi Tianluo. He looks like he's only at level 2 of the Grandmaster realm. How could he defeat Shi Tianluo who was at level 6 of the Grandmaster realm? I heard that when Ling Xiao defeated Shi Tianluo, he was only at level 3 of the Dragon Tiger realm. According to the latest news, even the Tiger King of the Wanshou sect was killed by Ling Xiao. What? How is that possible? How could this boy be so monstrous? Everyone discussed animatedly. Their eyes were filled with disbelief. Especially the disciples of the Wanshou sect. After hearing Ling Xiao's words, their eyes flashed with killing intent as they stared at Ling Xiao. Ling Xiao had killed the disciples of the Wanshou sect, especially the Tiger King. The peerless genius who was second only to the Dragon's son and the Phoenix girl had died in Ling Xiao's hands. This was a bone-deep hatred. The Dragon's son's gaze also fell on Ling Xiao, revealing a hint of killing intent. Ling Xiao ignored the murderous gazes around him. He glanced at Huang Haifeng and said indifferently, Huang Yunji doesn't know what's good for him. Could it be that you want to accompany him down there? A dangerous aura emanated from Ling Xiao's body. Although Ling Xiao was smiling, his smile looked very cold. Ling Xiao, don't try to win a battle of words. No one can save you today. You'll definitely die. The murderous intent in Huang Haifeng's eyes seemed to materialize. The Hell Dragon saber in his hand began to tremble, and a faint dragon's aura spread out. Even the 5 powerhouses in the 9 heavens looked at Ling Xiao. Especially the figure in the west. After seeing Ling Xiao, her beautiful eyes trembled slightly, and a hint of complicated light flashed in them. Is that so? Since you want to die, then get over here and accept your death. Chapter 336. Kill. Huang Haifeng roared, his eyes blazing with murderous intent. The underworld dragon saber in his hand exuded a powerful pressure. It was like a black dragon, wrapped in a monstrous demonic aura, slashing towards Ling Xiao. The void trembled and rippled. Mysterious runes flowed on the surface of the underworld dragon saber. They resonated with the surrounding heaven and earth like the laws of the great Tao, causing the power of this saber to rise to the extreme like a wave. I never thought that Huang Haifeng could cultivate the true underworld dragon technique to such a level. A heaven-grade martial art is indeed extraordinary. Someone cried out in surprise, his eyes revealing a trace of shock. That's right. With the true underworld dragon technique and the underworld dragon saber, the first prince could even fight against a sky realm expert. Ling Xiao is dead for sure. A few young experts from the great Huang ancient country sneered. They were full of confidence in Huang Haifeng. The aura of this blade was indeed very strong. It pierced through the sky, and its sharpness was unparalleled. It caused the longevity sect's disciples to reveal a look of worry. True underworld dragon technique? Unfortunately, your cultivation is not up to par. Facing the peerless saber light, Ling Xiao's expression did not change. There was a faint light flickering in his eyes. Roar! A majestic dragon roar soared into the sky, emitting an ancient, boundless, and majestic aura. At this moment, Ling Xiao seemed to have transformed into a primordial true dragon. That terrifying aura caused everyone's expression to change. Boom! Ling Xiao threw out a simple punch. A golden fist print soared into the sky like a divine mountain. Unparalleled qi and blood erupted, shaking the heavens. This punch was like a primordial true dragon's attack. The dragon's might was unfathomable and unstoppable. Compared to Ling Xiao, Huang Haifeng's underworld dragon saber was like a false dragon. It was completely intimidated by the true dragon qi and lost its edge. Kacha! This punch of Ling Xiao's was purely a burst of physical strength that could crush everything. The unparalleled saber light in the void instantly exploded. The golden fist struck the hell dragon saber, instantly triggering tens of thousands of rays of light. The underworld dragon saber violently trembled and countless runes exploded. Huang Haifeng's complexion suddenly turned pale. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. He spat out a mouthful of blood and was sent flying. Huang Haifeng's face suddenly turned pale. It was as if he had been struck by lightning. Rumble. The underworld dragon saber fell, and the unparalleled saber light created a crack on the ground. Huang Haifeng fell to the ground, and his aura instantly became sluggish. The power of a single punch was so great. Everyone was dumbfounded, unable to believe their own eyes. Even Master Jiaomu, Li Ling, Xia Huang, and the others who had seen Ling Xiao in action didn't expect him to end the battle so decisively and quickly. Moon God looked at Ling Xiao with her beautiful eyes. It was as if she wanted to see through him. One move, and Huang Haifeng was defeated. How can Ling Xiao be so strong? After a long while, someone came back to his senses. His voice was trembling. I heard that Tiger King of the Wanshou sect died at Ling Xiao's hands. Could it be true? Someone seemed to have thought of something, and his eyes revealed a trace of disbelief. Although there were rumors that Ling Xiao had defeated Shi Tianluo and killed Tiger King, the third of the Wanshou Seven Scions. However, Tiger King was a peerless genius who had one foot in the celestial realm. He had even killed a celestial realm expert before. How could Ling Xiao, a disciple of a small sect, kill Tiger King? Therefore, everyone just treated it as a joke. However, at this moment, Ling Xiao defeated Huang Haifeng with a single punch. That kind of unparalleled combat strength that could crush everything made everyone think of a certain possibility. Tiger King really died at Ling Xiao's hands. In the distance, Dragon Zi's gaze landed on Ling Xiao. There was a trace of shock, excitement, and even greed in his eyes. This was because he felt that Ling Xiao's dragon aura was even stronger than his green dragon true technique. What kind of martial art did Ling Xiao cultivate? If he could obtain Ling Xiao's peerless martial art, he would definitely be able to complete his green dragon true technique and explode with even more terrifying power. Thinking of this, Dragon Zi's eyes flashed with a trace of hidden killing intent. Haifeng, are you alright? King Huang Quan of the Great Huang ancient country helped Huang Haifeng up and fed him a spiritual medicine. Seeing that Huang Haifeng's injuries were not serious, but the supreme grade inner armor on him was completely destroyed, Huang Quan could not help but inwardly gasp. Destroying a supreme grade treasure with a single punch was already the strength of a celestial realm expert. Ling Xiao's punch was too fast, too fierce, and too powerful. Even Huang Quan, who had stepped into the half-step noble realm, could not stop it in time. This boy's talent was too terrifying. He could not be allowed to live. Huang Quan's gaze towards Ling Xiao revealed a trace of chilling killing intent. Father, I'm fine. Kill him for me. Huang Haifeng's face was ferocious as he stared at Ling Xiao with eyes full of hatred. Being defeated by Ling Xiao with a single punch was a great humiliation. The sympathetic gazes of the surrounding people made him even more furious. Don't worry, he will definitely die. Huang Quan's voice was extremely cold. He ordered his subordinates to take care of Huang Haifeng as his gaze fell on Ling Xiao. Boom! A vast and terrifying aura erupted and swept across the sky. A black dragon seemed to have appeared behind Huang Quan. His black hair fluttered in the wind as he stepped forward. His entire body exuded an incomparably cold killing intent. Ling Xiao, come out and die. The cold and murderous voice resounded through the sky, accompanied by the rumbling of thunder. The aura of a half-step noble realm exploded, causing everyone's expression to change. They felt as if the sky was about to collapse and they felt suffocated. Their faces were extremely pale. However, Ling Xiao did not feel uncomfortable in the face of such an aura. His expression was still very calm as he said indifferently, I hit the young one and the old one jumped out. Who do you think you are to be so arrogant in front of me? Boom! Huang Quan stepped forward. Every step he took caused the sky to shake. The dragon aura on his body rose, becoming more and more vast and majestic. His expression was dignified and his figure was tall. He was like an emperor who ruled over all living things in the world, deciding the life and death of all living things with a single word. Very good, little bastard. When you fall into my hands, you will know what it means to beg for death. The killing intent in Huang Quan's eyes burned. Accompanied by a powerful dragon roar, he grabbed at Ling Xiao with his palm. The noble realm ruled over the will of the world. Although Huang Quan was only a half-step to the noble realm, he was like a part of the will of the world. When his palm landed, it was as if the world had been turned upside down. Buzz! There seemed to be a blazing sword radiance flashing in Ling Xiao's eyes. The sky-devouring sword moved freely in his Dantian ocean of qi and a powerful battle intent spread out. However, at this moment, an unparalleled sword radiance swept across the sky. It was like a vast galaxy, vast and boundless. In an instant, it blocked in front of Ling Xiao. Xia Huang stepped forward and stood in front of Huang Quan. His eyes revealed a trace of indifference. Brother Huang, aren't you afraid of being ridiculed by the world for attacking a young man with your status? Chapter 337. Boom! The sword radiance clashed with Acheron, causing the void to tremble. Countless rays of divine light shot out and eventually disappeared. Xia Huang. I didn't expect you to reach the half-step noble realm. Acheron's eyes flashed. He could feel Xia Huang's unparalleled aura, which had merged with the surrounding will of heaven and earth. Xia Huang, my seventh son, Huang Yunji, died at the hands of Ling Xiao. This is a personal grudge. Ling Xiao must die. I hope you won't stop me. Acheron said coldly. The dragon aura from his body grew stronger. He was also shocked. It was extremely difficult for the kings of the four ancient nations to reach the noble realm. Even Acheron himself had to pay a huge price. Finally, with the help of the Wanshou sect, he was able to reach the noble realm. On the other hand, Xia Huang had also silently broken through to the half-noble plane, which made Yifutian a little wary. I'm sorry, Brother Huang. Ling Xiao and I are old friends. I can't let you kill him. Xia Huang smiled faintly. The barren dragon sword in his hand shone brightly. Strands of sword qi swept across the void, carrying with them the power to pierce through everything. Xia Huang, do you really want to be my enemy? Acheron's face darkened. Acheron, with me here, you can't kill Ling Xiao. Xia Huang's expression was still calm, but his eyes were firm. He was unwilling to back down. Boom! A powerful aura radiated from Acheron. He stared coldly at Xia Huang. The black dragon behind him moved freely. Dragon aura filled the air, as if it was going to strike at any time. Xia Huang's aura was like the Emperor's divine sword. It was vast and majestic. His sword aura was overwhelming. The clash of auras between the two caused the surrounding void to rumble. Countless rocks and trees were turned into dust. Are the two kings finally going to fight? Everyone's eyes were filled with shock and anticipation. Xia Huang and Acheron were both outstanding talents. Although they were only half-step noble realm experts, their strength and knowledge were not much weaker than the average noble realm experts. The relationship between the Dahuang Ancient Kingdom and the Dahuang Ancient Kingdom was tense. The warriors of the two countries had fought many times in recent years. Therefore, the two countries did not see eye to eye. Boom! Boom! However, at this moment, two more powerful auras soared into the sky, causing Zhu Chen and spiritual master Chunyang to fly over. They exuded a majestic and mysterious aura as they stood beside Xia Huang. What? Huang Quan's eyes trembled, and his face instantly turned ugly. It was only when Zhu Chen and Pure Sun's spiritual master revealed their auras that he realized that they were both half-step noble realm experts. The fact that there were 3 half-step noble realm experts in the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom shocked Hades. This was definitely not a good thing for the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. The 3 half-noble realm experts also attracted the attention of the martial arts Holy Lands. After all, even in the martial arts Holy Lands, a half-noble realm expert was considered a top-notch combat power. All of a sudden, the Great Desolation Ancient Country became the focus of everyone's attention. Yellow Spring, the secret territory of longevity is about to open. I advise you not to act rashly. If you suffer any injuries, I'm afraid your great yellow ancient country will be annihilated in the secret territory. Xia Huang said faintly. His gaze fell on Huang Haifeng and the other experts of the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom, and a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes. Huang Quan's face instantly turned ugly. He glared at Xia Huang and said coldly, "Are you threatening me?" "It's not a threat. I'm just telling you a fact." Xia Huang said slowly. Fine, fine, fine. Xia Huang, let's wait and see. Huang Quan gritted his teeth, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. The Great Barren Ancient Kingdom actually had 3 noble realm experts, and they were all determined to stand up for Ling Xiao. It seemed that he would not be able to kill Ling Xiao today. This made Huang Quan angry and unwilling to accept. In the end, he gave in. Now that he was surrounded by heroes, it was indeed not a good time to fall out with the Great Barren Ancient Kingdom. Ling Xiao, you're really lucky. However, the secret territory of longevity is filled with dangers. Demonic beasts are everywhere. You have to be careful. If you fall into the hands of a demonic beast, you'll die without a burial place. Huang Quan said coldly as he looked at Ling Xiao coldly. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, "You don't have to worry. The secret territory of longevity is not enough to take my life. However, I'm afraid that once you enter the secret territory of longevity, you won't be able to come out again." Huang Quan's eyes turned cold as he stared at Ling Xiao. In the end, he snorted coldly and turned to leave. Huang Quan believed that the Wanshou sect would not let the matter rest after Ling Xiao killed the Tiger King of the Wanshou sect. However, the secret territory of longevity was more important at the moment, so they did not care about Ling Xiao for the time being. When the Wanshou sect was free, Ling Xiao would definitely die. Rumble. In the void above, the lords of the 5 great sacred lands attacked again. Unparalleled divine light shot out like pillars of heaven, controlling the will of heaven and earth and attacking the array at the stone gate. The void shook and divine light gushed out. However, the 5 elements diagram at the stone gate flowed flawlessly and easily blocked the attacks of the lords of the 5 great sacred lands. Moreover, divine chains of order shot up into the sky and attacked the sky. The terrifying fluctuations swept out in all directions, causing everyone's heart to tremble and their faces to turn pale. However, even if the lords of the 5 great sacred lands attacked together, they could not break the array at all. Moreover, the stone gate rumbled and countless runes bloomed, faintly showing signs of collapsing. Oh no! If this array is attacked forcefully, the secret territory of longevity will be completely destroyed once the stone gate collapses. Someone cried out in surprise, his eyes filled with solemnity. The lords of the 5 great sacred lands also stopped and stood in the void. Their eyes shone brightly as they thought of a way to break the array. Whoosh! A divine rainbow flew across the sky and a terrifying figure appeared in front of Ling Xiao and the others. It was an old man in a black robe, shrouded in a black divine light. He had a youthful face and white hair. His face was majestic and there seemed to be a mysterious vision of thousands of beasts galloping behind him. He stood there as if he was the center of heaven and earth. Everyone could not help but want to kneel down. He is the sect leader of the Wanshou sect, the Black Dragon King. Someone exclaimed. His eyes were filled with awe and respect. The Changsun sect has not been destroyed yet. Interesting. You guys go and break the array. If you can break the array, I will not pursue the cause of the Tiger King's death. Otherwise, the Changsun sect will not be spared. The Black Dragon King's voice was like thunder. His eyes were indifferent as he looked at Ling Xiao and the disciples of the Changsun sect. What? The Black Dragon King is asking the people of the Changsun sect to break the array? Hehe, it seems like he is really asking them to die. That may not be the case. I heard that the Changsun sect is the Changsun holy ground that dominated the world 10,000 years ago. Back then, the secret territory of longevity was their backyard. Who knows, they might really have a way to break the array. Rumors cannot be trusted. Look at these people, the highest cultivation is not even at the heaven realm. How can they break the array? I did not expect the Black Dragon King to take action personally. He is going to avenge the Tiger King. Chapter 338. Nangong Xian and the rest were shocked and angry. They did not expect the Black Dragon King to attack personally and force the Changsun men to break the array. However, if even the 5 Saint Lords could not break the array, the Changsun men would only be sending themselves to their deaths. Ling Xiao looked at the Black Dragon King and squinted his eyes. He said calmly, "What makes you think that the Changsun men can break the array? If you don't break the array, you will die." The Black Dragon King's voice was cold as if he was looking at a group of ants. Ha ha ha. If you don't break the array, you will die. 10,000 years ago, when the Changsun men swept across the 8 barren lands and suppressed our enemies, did the Wanshou men dare to speak like this? Do you really think that you are the ruler of the 8 barren region? Ling Xiao laughed out of anger. His body was surrounded by a faint golden light. He stared at the Black Dragon King without fear. Childish. This world respects strength. You are stronger than the Tiger King, so he deserves to die. I am stronger than you, so I am your ruler. Those who do not listen to me can only die. The Black Dragon King said coldly with an indifferent expression. Who do you think you are? Ling Xiao said word by word. The light in his eyes was like a divine sword, sharp and unparalleled. Everyone was also shocked by Ling Xiao's words. This was the Black Dragon King, one of the strongest people in the 8 barren region. Was Ling Xiao not afraid of death? The Black Dragon King's eyes flashed coldly. A terrifying aura spread out from his body as if a black dragon was roaring behind him. An invisible pressure pressed down on Ling Xiao. It was like the power of the heavens. Black Dragon King, why are you so angry? A calm voice rang out. A middle-aged Taoist wearing a Taoist robe with the sun and moon above his head slowly walked over. He had a faint smile on his face. The sect leader of the Sun and Moon sect, the Yin-Yang Lord. When everyone saw the face of this middle-aged Taoist and felt the vast Yin and Yang Qi, they immediately recognized this person's identity. Lord Yin-Yang was a peerless cultivator who had entered the noble plane a long time ago. It was said that he was hundreds of years old and unfathomable. Was he going to stand up for Ling Xiao? Everyone felt that they could not see through Ling Xiao. There was Xia Huang in front, and now there was the Yin Yang King. What was the background of this young man? Oh. Brother Yin Yang, are you here to become my enemy? The Black Dragon King's eyes flickered as he slowly spoke. No, I'm here to break the formation. The lords of Yin Yang smiled faintly. Break the formation? Even the Black Dragon King was surprised. That's right. Everyone knows the relationship between our Sun-Moon Star sect and the Changsun sect. Actually, it's not difficult to break this 5 elements Xiantian formation. We don't even need to break the formation to enter. The lords of Yin Yang said with a faint smile. He could enter the longevity secret territory without breaking the formation. Everyone was also slightly taken aback, and they were somewhat puzzled. That's right. The longevity secret realm has existed since 10,000 years ago, and this 5 elements Xiantian formation is said to have been left behind by the strongest person in the world, the Sky-Devouring Supreme. Back then, when the longevity sect's disciples entered the longevity secret realm to train, they couldn't have broken the formation before they could enter, right? The lords of Yin Yang said slowly as they looked at Ling Xiao with a strange gaze. Little friend Ling Xiao, can you let me take a look at the longevity qi refining technique? The lords of Yin Yang looked at Ling Xiao with a smile. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he looked at the lords of Yin Yang. He found that the lords of Yin Yang were very calm and still had a smile on their faces. The 5 elements Xiantian formation was indeed left behind by Ling Xiao. It was extremely difficult to break the formation because the 5 elements power was the source of Ling Xiao's 5 elements laws. It was connected to the entrance of the longevity secret territory. If the formation was forcefully destroyed, the stone door, which was the entrance to the longevity secret territory, would also be destroyed. As long as the disciples of the Changsun sect cultivated the longevity qi refining technique, they could safely pass through the 5 elements Xiantian formation and enter the secret territory with the protection of their longevity type qi. This was not a secret 10,000 years ago. However, after 10,000 years, even the Changsun sect did not know about it. How did the lords of Yin Yang know about it? Brother Yin Yang, do you mean that we can enter the longevity secret territory if we cultivate the longevity qi refining technique? That's right. 10,000 years ago, the disciples of the Changsun sect could enter the longevity secret territory safely. The Black Dragon said slowly with a hint of surprise in his eyes. Ling Xiao and the disciples of the Changsun sect instantly became the focus of everyone's attention. Everyone looked at them with a burning gaze. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed coldly. The lords of Yin Yang were really vicious. They forced the Changsun sect into a corner with just one sentence. What if I don't hand over the longevity qi refining technique? Ling Xiao said indifferently. If you don't hand it over, die. The Black Dragon said coldly. His eyes were filled with cold killing intent. He could not wait any longer. He looked at the disciples of the Changsun sect as if they were his prey. He was ready to capture them and interrogate them. Even the lords of the 3 great saint lands were looking at Ling Xiao from the sky. Bastard! Since you want the longevity qi refining technique, I'll give it to you. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed with unwillingness and anger. It was as if he could not withstand the pressure from the lords of Yin Yang and the Black Dragon and was starting to feel afraid. Ling Xiao reached out and grabbed an ancient book and threw it to the lords of Yin Yang. The lords of Yin Yang looked at the contents of the ancient book and smiled. Thank you, Ling Xiao. This is indeed the complete longevity qi refining technique. After saying that, he could not wait to start cultivating the longevity qi refining technique. As for the others, they also obtained the longevity qi refining technique as they wished. This was only a yellow class martial art. It was easy to cultivate the longevity qi. Soon, someone managed to cultivate the longevity qi. He could not help but run towards the 5 elements Black Heaven formation. Wang! The longevity qi emitted a mysterious light. As expected, the 5 elements Black Heaven formation did not continue to attack him. He walked through the stone door safely. It worked. Everyone, let's go. There are countless treasures of heaven and earth in the longevity's secret territory. There's also the supreme inheritance. They're all mine. Suddenly, everyone's eyes turned red. One by one, they shouted and rushed into the longevity's secret territory. Even the people from the 5 holy lands and several ancient countries rushed in. Surprisingly, the Black Dragon King did not make things difficult for Ling Xiao. He jumped into the longevity's secret territory. Holy Sun, this longevity mystic realm was left behind by our patriarch. I'm really unwilling to let them destroy it just like that. Deng Yalin's eyes flashed with anger. Sigh, the Holy Sun has no choice. Everyone saw it. If we don't hand over the longevity chi refining technique, I'm afraid all of us will die here. The Black Dragon King and the Lords of Yin Yang are not good people. Zhuo Zhen and the others were also indignant, but they also felt helpless. At this moment, there was no trace of anger on Ling Xiao's face. His expression was incomparably calm and indifferent. His eyes flashed with a hint of mockery. Chapter 339. Grandmaster Jiaomu, Li Ling, and the others who knew Ling Xiao had strange looks in their eyes when they saw the expression on his face. They all knew that Ling Xiao was not someone who would be easily bullied. Could it be that there was some secret in the longevity energy refining technique? If that was the case, those who cultivated the longevity energy refining technique would be at a great disadvantage. Alright, let's go in. Ling Xiao smiled faintly and led the group forward. Everyone's longevity true qi spread out from their bodies. The terrifying 5 elements black heaven formation did not move at all, allowing Ling Xiao and the rest to enter through the stone door. Buzz! A bright light flashed and the scene before them changed. Everyone appeared in a new world. Is this the secret realm of longevity? One of the longevity sect's disciples exclaimed. His eyes were filled with disbelief and excitement. Everyone appeared in a vast mountain range. Ancient trees towered into the sky, thousands of feet tall. The canopy of the trees was like a dome, covering the sky and the sun. In the distance, a majestic mountain rose from the ground. Clouds and mist lingered around it, emitting an ancient and savage aura. It made everyone feel as if they had arrived in an ancient mythical world. There were strange flowers and herbs everywhere. Ancient vines entwined around them. Spiritual mist pervaded the air. Looking around, there were hundreds of precious spiritual herbs in this mountain forest. The spiritual energy in the surroundings was extremely dense. Everyone could feel their pores relaxing when they took a breath. Endless spiritual energy rolled towards them. It was incomparably pure and could be converted into a part of their true qi. The spiritual energy in this world was 10 times or even 100 times denser than that of the longevity sect. Unbelievable, this is really unbelievable. I didn't expect the secret realm of longevity to be a paradise. It's hard to imagine how prosperous the longevity sect was 10,000 years ago when they had the secret realm of longevity. This is a 3,000-year-old fire dragon grass. Oh my god, this is already at the level of a supreme spiritual herb. This is a 5,000-year-old withered tree vine and a 6,000-year-old pure yang fruit, 10,000 years black iron. This is a spiritual or used to refine treasures. How can there be such a big piece? Everyone was in an uproar. Each and every one of them was incomparably excited. In this mountain forest, they had casually discovered many precious spiritual herbs and precious mines. The spiritual herbs and treasures that had long disappeared in the outside world made everyone's eyes shine. It was like a group of beggars who had entered the palace's treasury. The secret realm of longevity has been sealed for 10,000 years. Even the most ordinary herbs have become supreme spiritual herbs. After all, the spiritual energy accumulated over the years is too terrifying. Nangong Xian exclaimed. Even with his state of mind, he was still greatly affected by it. There were spirit herbs everywhere, all of them were precious heavenly materials and earthly treasures. The spirit energy was so dense that it formed a spirit spring river. It was like an unexplored mythical world. The celestial mystic realm. Tens of thousands of years have passed. Even the celestial mystic realm has become so unfamiliar. Ling Xiao sighed softly, a trace of nostalgia in his eyes. This was indeed the immortal mystery land, but it was different from the immortal mystery land in Ling Xiao's memory. The landscape had changed a lot. Although it looked peaceful, Ling Xiao could still feel the undercurrent and danger hidden under the calm. Is it because of the invasion of the extraterrestrial demons 10,000 years ago? Why has the secret realm of longevity changed so much? Ling Xiao muttered to himself. He stood there and pondered. That's strange. Why are we the only ones here? Where did the people from the Martial Way Sanctuary go? Leng Feng's eyes revealed a trace of doubt. Hearing Leng Feng's words, Nangong Xian and the others calmed down. They were also puzzled. Only the disciples of the Changsun sect were here. Even Xia Huang, Ling Juechen, Chunyang Zhenren, Ling Qingqing, Xia Hongxiu, Yueshen, and the others who came with them had disappeared. Seeing the puzzlement in everyone's eyes, Ling Xiao smiled faintly and said, the entrance of the secret realm of longevity is connected by the 5 elements Black Heaven formation. Only the disciples of the Changsun sect can enter through the entrance. Who knows which demonic beast's lair they are in now? Roar! Roar! As soon as Ling Xiao finished speaking, the roars of demonic beasts could be heard from the mountains in the distance. The roars shook the sky and the earth shook. The roars were so powerful that they could be heard for a few hundred miles. It was like thunder, deafening everyone's ears and causing their faces to turn pale. So many rank 6 demonic beasts. And rank 7 demonic kings. Nangong Xian's body shook and his eyes were filled with disbelief. The roars of the beasts were accompanied by monstrous demonic qi. Terrifying fluctuations spread in all directions. Nangong Xian immediately sensed that many of the demonic beasts were at least 6th-order demonic beasts, which were comparable to celestial realm warriors. Among them, there were even rank 7 demonic kings. Although the secret realm of longevity is a treasure trove, it is also a training ground. Flesh and blood and life are the eternal themes here. Ling Xiao smiled faintly. His eyes shone brightly as he stared at the mountains in the distance. No one knew what he was thinking. The disciples of the Changsun sect who were excited by the treasure trove seemed to have been splashed with a bucket of cold water. They gradually regained their composure. The secret realm of longevity was originally a training ground for the disciples of the Changsun sect. There were many heavenly treasures and mysterious spiritual realms. However, there were even more demonic beasts and danger. The Changsun sect now could not be compared to the Changsun sect 10,000 years ago. After all, even Nangong Xian had not broken through to the sky human realm. This meant that the disciples of the Changsun sect would be in greater danger. These are the longevity tokens. Each of you will have one. If you break it when you are in danger, you will be teleported out of the secret realm. However, each of you only has one chance. It is useless to take more than one. I hope that when we leave the secret realm of longevity, all of you will come out with one less. A light flashed in Ling Xiao's hand and dozens of white jade talismans floated in the air, emitting a gentle light. There are treasures like the longevity tokens. The safety of the disciples of the Changsun sect is greatly guaranteed. Nangong Xian was overjoyed. His eyes were filled with excitement. Although he didn't know what the longevity medallion was, after hearing Ling Xiao's explanation, he knew that the longevity medallion was equivalent to a life. It was a priceless treasure. Nangong Xian was already used to Ling Xiao's mysteriousness. This guy could even find the longevity supreme scripture and communicate with the statue of the sky-devouring supreme patriarch. Nangong Xian was certain that Ling Xiao had obtained the inheritance of the sky-devouring supreme patriarch. The disciples of the Changsun sect were also extremely excited as they looked at Ling Xiao with admiration. Every one of them took a piece of the Changsun medallion and kept it close to their bodies. Awu! 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 At this moment, a loud wolf's howl resounded through the forest. The surrounding forest shook and the wind blew wildly. Endless demonic chi filled the air. Pairs of cold and bloodthirsty eyes appeared from the dense foliage. The disciples of the Changsan sect were surrounded by wolves. Chapter 340. One by one, giant wolves walked out from the forest. They were almost 10 feet tall and their limbs were strong and powerful. Their bodies were covered in golden scales that gave off a chilling glow. These giant wolves were filled with demonic aura and their eyes were bloodthirsty. They surrounded the group and there were thousands of them. The leader of the pack was a wolf king. It was almost 10 feet tall and looked like a small moving mountain. Its body was covered in golden light and there was a golden horn on its head. It stood there and looked at the group, giving off a desolate aura that was extremely oppressive. Nangong Xian and the group's expression changed instantly. The weakest of these giant wolves was a rank 3 demonic beast. There were also quite a number of rank 4 and rank 5 demonic beasts. The wolf king in the lead was not much weaker than the long-armed ape king. It's the giant golden armored wolves. The physical strength of these giant wolves is extremely strong, and the golden scales on their bodies have a very strong defense. Their weakness is their eyes. Junior brothers, this is your first test after entering the immortal secret territory. If you can't even deal with these giant wolves, you can just get lost and go home. Ling Zhao's eyes flashed as he looked at the pack of wolves and smiled faintly. Ling Zhao's words temporarily dispelled the fear in the hearts of the disciples. Their eyes were filled with a strong fighting spirit. The saint was right. Compared to the powerful demonic beast kings in the secret territory, these giant golden armored wolves were nothing. Moreover, they had the long-armed ape king on their side. More importantly, with Ling Zhao around, they would feel at ease. Disciples of the longevity sect, listen up. Elites of the spirit transformation realm, form groups of 3 and kill the giant golden armored wolves with the longevity sword formation. The rest of you, move freely and cooperate. At Nangong Xian's command, all the disciples of the longevity sect unsheathed their long swords. Their eyes were filled with fighting spirit as they charged towards the giant golden armored wolves. Roar! The long-armed ape king's gaze instantly fell upon the wolf king. With an excited roar, he thumped his chest and pounced towards the wolf king. Under the lead of the ape king, the long-armed apes charged forward fearlessly. Although there were thousands of giant golden armored wolves and only 100 disciples of the longevity sect, the longevity sect's morale was high. The two sides instantly engaged in a fierce battle. Roar! The giant golden armored wolves howled and rushed over like golden lightning. The scales on their bodies emitted a cold light. Their blood and chi surged as they rushed over. Bastard, you're courting death. A sharp light flashed in Li Ling's eyes. He unsheathed the ancient sword on his back, emitting a dazzling light. Like a divine rainbow, it pierced through the eyes of a giant wolf in golden armor. After all, the sword was unstoppable. Like a stick of candied haws, the eyes of 7 or 8 giant golden armored wolves exploded and their brains splattered before the ancient sword spun around and returned to Li Ling's hand. Roar! 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 Sensing Li Ling's powerful aura, 3-5 Zhangtal giant golden armored wolves, all rank 6 demonic beasts, charged towards Li Ling, their eyes filled with hatred and killing intent. Moreover, these giant golden armored wolves knew how powerful Li Ling's swordsmanship was, so they were careful to cover their eyes. Countless sword chi landed on their scales, causing sparks to fly everywhere. However, it was unable to break through their defense. The battle between the ape king and the wolf king was the most intense. It was like 2 mountains colliding. The ground in the distance rumbled and cracked open like a spider web. The towering ancient trees were reduced to dust. The wind blew wildly, causing sand and stones to fly everywhere. The wolf king's sharp claws swept across the sky, causing the void to buzz. It was extremely sharp and left a few bloody marks on the Ape King's chest. However, this triggered the Ape King's ferocity. His 2 arms were like heavenly pillars, piercing through the void. After an intense collision, he sent the Wolf King flying hundreds of zhongs away with a punch. Rumble. Demonic chi filled the air as the sounds of battle shook the sky. This peaceful forest instantly turned into an intense battlefield. Ling Xiao did not make a move. Instead, he observed the surroundings. When he saw that the longevity sect disciples were no match for them, he would make a move to save them. However, Ling Xiao's brows gradually furrowed. These giant golden armored wolves were not afraid of death. The death of their companions only increased their hatred. There were thousands of giant golden armored wolves. Even if they were all killed, the longevity sect disciples would definitely suffer heavy casualties. The reason is more important than the giant golden armored Wolf King. As long as I kill the Wolf King, these giant golden armored wolves will collapse on their own. Ling Xiao's eyes shone brightly as he looked at the Wolf King who was fighting with the Ape King. He could tell that the giant golden armored Wolf King was extremely strong. It was almost on par with the Ape King. The Ape King would not be able to end the battle in a short period of time. I would like to see if your golden armor can withstand my secret skill of the ancestral dragon. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a strong fighting spirit as he walked towards the Wolf King. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon could increase one's physical strength tremendously. Moreover, the heaven-devouring secret skill could neutralize a large number of physical attacks. Back in the longevity sect, Ling Xiao had once fought with the long-armed Ape King with his Earth Dragon body at the Great Perfection stage. In terms of physical strength alone, Ling Xiao was not weaker than the long-armed Ape King. More importantly, Ling Xiao also had the most insane innate super ability, Dragon Eruption. With the Flood Dragon body, the Dragon Eruption super ability could increase one's combat strength by 2 times. With the Earth Dragon body, the Dragon Eruption super ability could increase one's combat strength by 4 times. With Ling Xiao's current physical strength and the Dragon Eruption super ability, even if he was facing the giant golden armored Wolf King, Ling Xiao was confident that he could kill it. Roar! A giant golden armored wolf stared at Ling Xiao and pounced towards him. The wolf's claws were sharp and could tear apart the toughest mountain rock. It was as though one's stomach would be ripped open if they came into contact with it. This was a rank 5 demonic beast. It seemed to treat Ling Xiao as a delicious meal as its eyes were cold. Scram! Ling Xiao did not even look at it. His expression was indifferent as he threw out a punch. Golden divine light exploded and the unparalleled fist print landed on the wolf's claws. Boom! The wolf's claw exploded, and a mist of blood filled the air. The fist imprint was unparalleled, landing directly on the giant wolf's body. Those sturdy scales were covered with faint runes, and they shattered in an instant. The giant wolf's body was torn to pieces in the void, exploding. With a single punch, a rank 5 giant golden armored wolf was dead. The saint is mighty. The saint is invincible. The disciples of the Changsun sect let out a fanatical look of worship. Looking at Ling Xiao's valiant appearance, their battle intent was ignited. A giant golden armored wolf that was 6 feet tall appeared in the sky. Its demonic aura was torrential and its eyes were cold. Golden blood chi filled the air as it charged towards Ling Xiao. This giant golden armored wolf was already a rank 6 demonic beast. Judging from its aura, it was even stronger than the 3 giant golden armored wolves that Li Ling was fighting. It was second only to the Wolf King. Sensing the ferocious aura, many of the longevity sect's disciples turned pale. Chapter 341. Roar! A dragon's roar pierced the sky. Ling Xiao's eyes shone with a golden light as he exuded a powerful dragon's aura. Endless chi of heaven and earth surged as he punched out. A golden dragon rushed out of his fist, exuding a vast wave of energy. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon was completely unleashed. It was as if the wolf could feel the dragon's aura from Ling Xiao. Although Ling Xiao looked very small, the dragon's aura he exuded was like an ancient true dragon that suppressed the world. The aura he exuded made the wolf tremble in fear. After all, other than the few ancient mythical beasts that could compete with the true dragon, the bloodline of most beasts was imprinted with respect and fear for the true dragon. After all, the true dragon race had once suppressed an era and was one of the supreme overlords of the ancient mythical era. The wolf was not surprised. Therefore, after being intimidated by the dragon's aura, its charging force was naturally weakened. Boom! After being hit by the golden divine dragon armor, the body of the giant wolf shone with a golden glow. Countless scales exploded in an instant. The fist imprint contained an incomparably vast power. It directly sent the giant wolf flying hundreds of feet away, crashing heavily onto the ground. Although it was not dead yet, it was on its last breath. The giant golden armored wolf landed right beside Deng Yalan, creating a huge crater and giving him a fright. However, seeing the state of the wolf, Deng Yalan's eyes turned. He immediately raised the long sword in his hand, gritted his teeth, and rushed forward to chop off the wolf's head. "Rascal, what are you trying to do?" Deng Tianda was shocked. That was a rank 6 beast. If it had the slightest bit of resistance, it could have swallowed Deng Yalan in one bite. However, the giant wolf in golden armor that was knocked down by Ling Xiao's punch clearly did not have any ability to retaliate. A hint of indignation appeared in its eyes before it lost its luster. Deng Yalan, on the other hand, took out a fist-sized golden monster pill from the giant golden wolf's body. He was extremely excited. This was the demon pill of a rank 6 beast. It was definitely a rare treasure. The saint is mighty, the saint is invincible, the saint can crush everything. The saint is destined to become a supreme being and dominate the world. Deng Yalan followed the other disciples and shouted even louder. His eyes were filled with excitement. Sure enough, following the saint would bring him great benefits. Normally, he wouldn't even dare to think about these natural treasures. But now, all of them had actually appeared before his eyes. Many of the longevity sect's disciples' eyes were filled with fanaticism and worship. Their saint's son was really too powerful. He killed a rank 5 monster with a single punch and even a rank 6 monster with a single punch. Meanwhile, the Holy Sun was already heading towards the Golden Armor Wolf King. What was the Holy Sun doing? Was he going to slay the Wolf King? That was the Wolf King, who was comparable to the peak of heaven tier. His physical body's chi and blood could shatter a mountain peak, and was incomparably powerful. Even from so far away, the shockwaves from the great battle between the Wolf King and the Ape King made them feel extremely apprehensive. Disciples, listen up. The Holy Sun has already gone to kill the Wolf King. Once the Wolf King dies, these giant golden armored wolves will probably run away. Kill them all. Half of the Yao cores you obtain will be stored, and the other half will be yours. Nangong Xian's eyes flashed as he guessed Ling Xiao's thoughts. He took the opportunity to boost the morale of his troops. Yes. Many of the disciples were excited. If these Yao cores were refined into elixirs and consumed, it would definitely increase their cultivation greatly. This was related to their own cultivation, so how could they not risk their lives? So, he's already so strong. Nangong Qing's clothes were whiter than snow, and her sword was incomparably beautiful. Her sword pierced through the eyes of a giant wolf, and she landed on the ground like a fairy. She looked at Ling Xiao's back and sighed softly. Back then, the young man who peeped on her bathing was chased all over the mountains and plains by her. Now, he had become a huge mountain for the longevity sect, sheltering them from the wind and rain. His radiance was boundless, his elegance was unparalleled, he fought against the heavens and the earth, and he smiled proudly at the heroes. He suppressed prodigies and killed demon kings. He had become somewhat unfamiliar to Nangong Qing. No matter what, even if I can't catch up to your footsteps, I'm not willing to become your burden. Nangong Qing suddenly smiled. Her peerless face bloomed like 100 flowers blooming, causing the eyes of the surrounding longevity sex male disciples to widen. Roar! The moment he was distracted, the giant golden armored wolf found an opportunity and clawed at his chest. Nan Gongqing's eyes flashed with killing intent. The long sword in her hand swept across the sky, and instantly blocked the giant golden armored wolf. Then, the sword around her shot into the sky, and countless sword chi descended from the sky, piercing through the giant golden armored wolf's eyes with lightning speed, killing it. That male disciple was already drenched in cold sweat. If it wasn't for Nan Gongqing, his stomach would have been sliced open today. Thank you, senior sister, thank you, senior sister. The male disciple thanked her profusely. Don't be distracted, work hard to kill the enemy. Nan Gongqing smiled warmly, and turned around with her sword. Her figure was ethereal like a phantom, and she charged towards the giant golden armored wolves. The male disciple rubbed his eyes hard, turned around, and charged towards a giant golden armored wolf. Damn giant golden armored wolf, see if I don't kill you. Rumble. The battle became more and more intense. Countless giant golden armored wolves were killed, and the longevity sect's disciples began to be injured. Ling Xiao arrived in front of the giant golden armored wolf. Ape King, leave it to me. You go and slaughter its descendants. Ling Xiao said indifferently, and his eyes shone with sharpness. Roar. Although the Ape King was a little unwilling, it was still enjoying the battle. However, Ling Xiao came over, and the Ape King did not go against Ling Xiao's will. It turned around and charged towards the giant golden armored wolves. Roar! The giant golden armored wolf understood Ling Xiao's words. Its cold eyes shone with murderous intent, and its golden claws slammed towards the Ape King's back. Your opponent is me. Ling Xiao's figure flashed, and he blocked the giant golden armored wolf. At the same time, he threw out a punch. His golden blood boiled, and the fist print contained unparalleled divine strength. Bang! After Ling Xiao and the giant golden armored wolf clashed, they both retreated at the same time. Ling Xiao rubbed his numb arm, and his eyes were filled with strong fighting intent. This giant golden armored wolf was an excellent opponent. Ling Xiao's secret skill of the ancestral dragon had unlocked the potential of his physical body. However, other than the powerful beasts, there was almost no human who could fight with Ling Xiao in terms of physical strength. Therefore, this giant golden armored wolf was the best target. Especially the golden scales that had unparalleled defensive strength. There were faint runes lingering on it, and it gave off a golden light. It was the giant golden armored wolf's innate ability. The giant golden armored wolf's eyes were filled with shock and anger. The puny human in front of it had an unbelievably strong physical body. He actually had the strength to fight with it. Roar! Without further ado, the giant golden armored wolf pounced towards Ling Xiao. Although it could not fly, the giant golden armored wolf could leap over 100 feet. Demonic aura surged from its body, and the mountains under its feet were crushed. The towering ancient trees collapsed, and rocks flew everywhere. Chapter 342. Bring it on! Ling Xiao shouted. Blood chi surged from his body and the secret skill of the ancestral dragon exploded. He clenched his fist and a golden dragon coiled around his body. He walked in the void and charged towards the Wolf King. Rumble! The sky shook violently. A Wolf King and a human, one big and one small, actually began to fiercely collide with each other with just the strength of their flesh. The monstrous blood and chi swept out in all directions, shocking everyone. Is the saint a human or a demon king? The strength of his physical body is too terrifying. Even the Ape King couldn't take down the Wolf King. The saint is on par with it. That's terrifying. Even if you tell me that the saint can kill a noble realm expert, I'll believe it. That's right. The saint is invincible. Many disciples of the Changsun sect were excited. After all, they had heard many legends about Ling Xiao. suppressing the heavenly snake descent and killing the Tiger King. However, none of them were as exciting as the scene before them. With the puny physical strength of a human, he could clash with the Wolf King in golden armor and not be at a disadvantage. The turbulent heavenly wind swept across the sky and hurt people from far away. This was no longer the strength of a human. This was a beast in human form. The battle between Ling Xiao and the Wolf King had ignited the fighting spirit of countless disciples. They rushed towards the giant golden-armored wolves, and with the addition of the long-armed Ape King, the giant golden-armored wolves were completely defeated. Fresh blood dyed the ground red. Rumble. The void trembled violently. Ling Xiao and the Wolf King continued to clash. Both of them seemed to have gone all out. They didn't use any techniques, only relying on their physical strength to kill each other. Every time they collided, they would be sent flying, and then they would rush back up and fight again. In the battle with the Wolf King, Ling Xiao felt his physical body getting stronger and stronger. His strength that had reached its limit started to increase slowly. Especially when the energy from the Wolf King was refined by the heaven-devouring secret skill. It started to nourish Ling Xiao and became a part of his cultivation. In the end, Ling Xiao even started to gain the upper hand. No matter how terrifying the Wolf King's strength was, it would be defeated by Ling Xiao with a single punch. You're worthless now. So, you can die now. Ling Xiao's eyes revealed a trace of coldness, and the powerful dragon's aura around him rose at this moment. Roar! It was as if countless true dragons were roaring in the sky. Ling Xiao's entire body was covered in a golden glow, and the divine light was dazzling. An ancient, desolate, dignified, and mysterious aura began to awaken from his body. Dragon Storm Theurgy. Ling Xiao roared loudly. This innate ability had been completely awakened, and Ling Xiao's strength increased exponentially. In an instant, he exploded forth with 4 times his peak battle prowess. Rumble. Ling Xiao punched out like a falling star, causing the void to tremble violently. Unparalleled divine light burst out. This punch was unavoidable, and it was so fast that it blasted towards the Golden Wolf King in an instant. Roar. The Golden Wolf King felt a sense of fatal danger. Its eyes were filled with shock. It couldn't imagine how this human's strength had become so terrifying in an instant. The demonic aura around its body began to burn like golden flames. Its wolf claws seemed to be cast in gold as they slammed down from the sky. At the same time, the golden scales on its body shone brightly, and its defensive power was pushed to the extreme. However, for times the strength was no longer a gap that could be closed by risking his life. Crack! The unparalleled fist landed, and one of the Wolf King's wolf claws instantly exploded, turning into nothingness. Ling Xiao's fist landed heavily on the Wolf King's body. The golden scales let out a series of crackling sounds, and countless runes exploded. Instantly, half of the Wolf King's body turned into a bloody mist. Roar! The Wolf King let out a blood-curdling scream. It was instantly sent flying a few hundred feet by Ling Xiao, and heavily smashed into a mountain peak in the distance. Rumble! The mountain peak trembled violently, and countless rocks turned into dust. The towering ancient trees collapsed, and the ground cracked. It was a terrifying scene. Ling Xiao stood in the void, and his eyes were like lightning. The golden divine light was like divine chains that intertwined around his body. The dragon's aura filled the air, making him look like a peerless dragon god. Everyone was stunned by the scene. Even the giant golden wolves were shocked, and their eyes were filled with fear. Ling Xiao's fist shattered the Wolf King's defense, and half of its body was destroyed. That peerless attack was forever imprinted in everyone's hearts. Roar! The Wolf King rushed out of the mountain peak, and at this moment, it looked extremely miserable. Its body was a bloody mess, and its scales were shattered. Half of its body had turned into nothingness. It looked at Ling Xiao with hatred and fear. Whoosh! Everyone originally thought that the Wolf King would go all out, but after a long howl, it turned into a streak of golden lightning and quickly fled into the distance. The giant golden wolves were already scared out of their wits when the Wolf King fled. How would they dare to stay any longer? They all turned around and fled as well. Sect leader, I'll go after the Wolf King. You guys leave this place quickly. Train in the secret territory of longevity and collect treasures. Don't be greedy. With the Ape King protecting you, you shouldn't be in too much danger. Ling Xiao said to Nangong Xian. All right. You be careful. Nangong Xian nodded in agreement. Young master, come back quickly. Although Shui Wei was reluctant to part with him, she still said sensibly. Shui Wei, listen to me. I'll be back soon. Ling Xiao smiled, turned into a streak of golden light, and chased after the Wolf King. Not only was the golden-armored wolf's defense very strong, it also possessed extreme speed. Especially when the Wolf King was fleeing with all its might, its speed was extremely fast. Very quickly, it had crossed over several large mountains. Even Ling Xiao was momentarily unable to catch up. I'd like to see where you're going to run to. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed as he used the secret skill of teleportation. His entire body seemed to have turned into a shadow, and with each step, he chased after the Wolf King. The essence of heaven and earth in the secret territory of longevity was too rich. It was like a huge river, and it surged into Ling Xiao's body. In the end, it was refined by the sky-devouring golden lotus and became a part of his cultivation. Ling Xiao chased after the Wolf King, and after crossing a few mountains, he became more energetic. Where is it? Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He felt the Wolf King's aura in a mountain in front of him, and he immediately increased his speed. Roar! Rumble! However, in the mountain in front of him, there was the sound of an intense battle. Along with the Wolf King's roar, there was the aura of a human. It seemed that the Wolf King was fighting with someone. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed, and he rushed toward the battle. Chapter 343. In a mountain range ahead, several black-robed grandmasters with sabers in their hands surrounded the Wolf King. The leader was a middle-aged man with a sinister face, exuding an aura as vast as the sea. He held a black gold saber in his hand. The saber radiance was unparalleled, and cold rays of light shrouded the Wolf King. The Wolf King was already severely injured by Ling Xiao, and it was difficult for it to even maintain the strength of a rank 6 demonic beast. Hence, it could not break through the blockade of the saber radiance. Its eyes were filled with anger. If it had not been severely injured, the Wolf King would not have cared about these people at all. It would have swallowed them all in one bite. Sect leader, this is a peak rank 6 demonic beast. Its body is full of priceless treasures. We're rich now. The eyes of the young grandmasters were filled with excitement. When the Wolf King was escaping, it bumped into them and was stopped. However, the Wolf King was indeed very strong. Even their sect leader, who was in the celestial realm, almost let the Wolf King escape. The sinister-looking middle-aged man also had a greedy look in his eyes. They had just entered the secret territory, and they had never thought that they would encounter a severely injured peak 6th rank demonic beast. This was simply a windfall from the sky. Chaotic 8 Saber. The middle-aged man shouted. The black gold saber in his hand emitted a blazing light, and like splashing water, it slashed at the Wolf King from an extremely tricky angle. Puff! The Wolf King was already severely injured, and the middle-aged man was a celestial realm expert. After barely blocking a few attacks, the Wolf King's head was chopped off by the middle-aged man. Blood spurted out, and the Wolf King's eyes were filled with unwillingness. Its huge body fell to the ground and died. A peak rank 6 golden armor Wolf King was killed by a level 1 celestial realm expert. It was extremely sullen. When Ling Xiao arrived, he saw the scene of the Wolf King being killed by the middle-aged man. Buzz! A golden light flew out of the Wolf King's body, exuding a strange spiritual fluctuation, and fled into the distance. A demonic core. The middle-aged man's eyes flashed as he saw the golden light. It was a golden demonic core, and he immediately reached out to grab it. Whoosh! A cold light flashed in Ling Xiao's eyes. He extended his hand and grabbed at the air. A powerful suction force surged out and immediately grabbed the Wolf King's demon core. Who is it? Hand over the Yao core. When the young evolved Jing masters in black saw that Ling Xiao had obtained the demonic core, their eyes turned cold as they yelled out in unison. I was the one who injured this golden armored Wolf King. I only want its Yao core. I can give you the Wolf King's corpse. Ling Xiao glanced at them indifferently. Bastard! You dare to say that you were the one who injured the Wolf King with your meager cultivation? If you know what's good for you, hand over the Yao core. Otherwise, you'll die. A black-robed young man said coldly with a look of disdain in his eyes. Ling Xiao seemed to only be in the master realm, while the golden armor Wolf King was a 6th-rank demonic beast. How could it have been injured by Ling Xiao? Naturally, they didn't believe it. Shut up! At this moment, the sinister-looking middle-aged man suddenly shouted. The black-robed young men were stunned. Why would their sect master scold them? So it's young master Ling Xiao. My disciples are blind. I hope young master Ling won't blame them. I'm Wang Jiandong, the sect master of the Mad Blade sect. Since the Wolf King was injured by young master Ling, the Yao core naturally belongs to young master Ling. The sinister-looking middle-aged man said with a flattering smile. Ling Xiao. The black-robed young men were shocked when they heard the name. Their eyes were instantly filled with shock. They were sweating profusely and their arrogant faces were twitching. This was a ruthless man. Legend had it that he suppressed Shi Tianluo, killed the Tiger King, and defeated Huang Haifeng with a single punch outside the secret territory of longevity. Everyone guessed that Ling Xiao was at least in the celestial realm. If such a monstrous genius were to be ruthless, he could probably kill everyone in the Mad Blade sect alone. No wonder their sect master scolded them and even admitted defeat in front of Ling Xiao. They had no choice but to admit defeat. Even their sect master might not be a match for Ling Xiao. You recognize me? Ling Xiao looked at Wang Jiandong indifferently. The Mad Blade sect should be a small sect. Ling Xiao did not have much of an impression of them. However, Ling Xiao was a little surprised that the sect master of a small sect was at level 1 of the celestial realm. Young Master Ling is a peerless genius of his generation. I've long admired you for suppressing Huang Haifeng with a single punch outside the secret territory of longevity. Who hasn't heard of young Master Ling's name? Wang Jiandong's eyes flashed as he smiled. He did not care whether the Wolf King was injured by Ling Xiao or not. Although he subconsciously did not think that Ling Xiao could injure the Wolf King, he knew that he was definitely not Ling Xiao's match. Therefore, he immediately admitted defeat. Is that so? Ling Xiao looked at Wang Jiandong indifferently. Since the Mad Blade sect was so tactful, Ling Xiao could not do anything to them. In that case, I'll take the Yao core. I can give you the Wolf King's body. Ling Xiao said indifferently and turned to leave the mountain range. To Ling Xiao, the golden armor Wolf King's Yao core was the most precious thing. The remaining half of the Wolf King's body was dispensable. No matter why the Mad Blade sect people admitted defeat, Ling Xiao did not have the time to care about them. After Ling Xiao left, the smile on Wang Jiandong's face disappeared and a trace of gloominess appeared in his eyes. Sect Master, that's the Yao core of a 6th-rank demonic beast. How can you give it to Ling Xiao just like that? A black-robed young man said unwillingly. Then what do you want? Fight with him. I'm afraid that not only will we not be able to get the Yao core back, we will all die in his hands. Ling Xiao is not a soft-hearted person. Wang Jiandong said indifferently. So we're just going to let it go? Just let it go? How is that possible? We can't deal with Ling Xiao, but there are plenty of people who can. Let's go, we'll go find the Wanshou sect. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to kill Ling Xiao and avenge us. Wang Jiandong's eyes revealed a trace of cold light as he sneered. Sect master is wise. With the experts of the Wanshou sect, Ling Xiao will definitely die. The black-robed young men's eyes were filled with excitement. The Mad Blade sect people kept the Wolf King's body and quickly left the mountain range. After Ling Xiao obtained the Yao core, he did not return to the Longevity sect immediately. Anyway, with the long-armed Ape King and Li Ling around, as long as he did not meet any demonic king-level experts, he should not be in any danger. The changes in the Longevity secret territory were too great. It was very different from what Ling Xiao remembered. Ling Xiao wanted to search around to see if the places he cared about the most still existed. Chapter 344. Inside the Longevity secret territory. Other than the people from the Longevity sect who entered the stone door and arrived at a safe forest, the others were all transported to different places in the Longevity secret territory. Some people were transported to a place where the space was chaotic. They didn't even have time to see their surroundings before they were turned into a bloody mist. Some people were directly transported to the nest of the ferocious beasts and were buried in the bellies of the beasts. However, there were even more people who, after experiencing life and death battles, killed the demonic beasts and left the danger zone, finally began to see the whole picture of the Longevity secret territory. Inside the Longevity secret territory, there were precious spiritual herbs everywhere. In the majestic mountain range, there were many precious heavenly treasures and spiritual materials for refining weapons, causing everyone to go crazy. Countless experts rushed into the Longevity secret territory and in a short period of time, they obtained a large amount of treasures. I heard that the eldest prince of the great Huang ancient country, Huang Haifeng, found a 10,000-year-old blood lingji. It has reached the level of king medicine and is incomparably precious. Inside the Longevity secret territory, there were countless pairs of eyes watching. As long as someone obtained a treasure, the news would spread rapidly in a short period of time. This is nothing. Someone saw the great Han ancient country's divine radiance crown prince find a piece of red dawn stone. It is said that it is a supreme treasure for refining supreme Dao weapons. The people of the great Han ancient country also obtained a great harvest. The appearance of the red dawn stone also caused a bloody storm. Those bastards of the great Xian ancient country found a spiritual spring. I heard that they are bathing and cultivating in the spiritual spring. Lord Mo Kong of the Terminator Demon sect killed a three-headed dragon and obtained a water avoidance pearl. His Highness Dragon's son found 3 thunder fruits. It is said that they contain the concept of thunder and are very precious. The Phoenix Girl obtained a vermilion bird fire seed. It is said that she is cultivating an extremely powerful technique. Many pieces of news spread. All those who entered the secret realm of longevity had great gains. This stirred up everyone's fanatical hearts. However, not everyone was so lucky. Those who were able to find treasures, other than a few lucky ones, were all powerful experts. Even more people were buried in the bellies of demonic beasts or died in dangerous areas while searching for treasures. Their corpses were not even left behind. The news of countless casualties caused the fanatical crowd to sober up a little and become even more vigilant. After all, the secret ground of longevity was not a peaceful place. Although there were countless treasures, it was also full of danger. Ling Xiao transformed into a streak of golden light and flew forward in the mountain range. The surroundings were filled with numerous towering divine mountains that towered into the clouds. Their auras were majestic, dignified, and mysterious, and they emanated strands of vast auras. Furthermore, Ling Xiao could sense that there seemed to be mysterious runes flickering within those sacred mountains, faintly forming a mysterious array. Formation. Could it be that something has happened in the longevity secret realm? Ling Xiao was deep in thought, a faint light flickering in his eyes. He used the teleportation secret technique to move at an extremely fast speed. He wanted to find out what had happened in the longevity's secret realm. In the end, Ling Xiao was slightly relieved. Other than a few mountains that had changed their positions, most of the landscape had remained the same. It was the same as Ling Xiao remembered. There were not many changes. Moreover, after tens of thousands of years, the longevity's secret realm was like a barren world that had been sealed. It was ancient and mysterious. Countless powerful demonic beasts roamed the mountain range. There were even some powerful Archean variant beasts. Chirp! A metallic sound pierced through the clouds. In the distant mountain range, a violent wind was blowing. A huge black eagle flew across the sky. The feathers on its body were as sharp as swords, incomparably sharp. The eagle's claws shone with a metallic luster, and there was a light that made one's heart palpitate. Its eyes were especially cold and merciless as it stared at Ling Xiao. Tianshan Eagle. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He recognized that the eagle was the legendary Tianshan eagle. It had the bloodline of an Archean ferocious beast. It was said that when a Tianshan eagle reached maturity, its wings would cover the sky and the sun. It was extremely terrifying. Although this Tianshan eagle was only a peak rank 5 demonic beast, its speed was extremely fast. It was like a black bolt of lightning as it pounced towards Ling Xiao. Bastard, you're courting death. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. Golden light gushed out from his body. He clenched his fist and punched towards the Tianshan eagle. Boom! Lightning flashed. The Tianshan eagle seemed to be able to feel the terrifying power in Ling Xiao's punch. It immediately dodged and went behind Ling Xiao. Its huge eagle claws were aimed at Ling Xiao's head. The eagle claws contained unparalleled power. If Ling Xiao's head was hit by this claw, his brain would probably burst open and he would die. Puff! Ling Xiao's figure was shattered. It turned out that it was just an afterimage. Ling Xiao's body appeared 30 feet away. He reached out and grabbed the eagle's claw. He swung it violently and smashed it towards a huge rock in the distance. Crack! The rock shattered and sand flew. The Tianshan eagle cried out in pain. Its wings fell off and there were traces of blood on its body. How terrifying was Ling Xiao's divine strength. No matter how strong the Tianshan eagle was, it could only die in Ling Xiao's hands. Ling Xiao reached out and crushed the neck of the Tianshan condor. He dug out a green demonic pill from its body, which contained traces of light energy. The Tianshan eagle was naturally sensitive to the wind attribute. Hence, the demonic pill contained the power of the wind attribute. If I want to break through to the body of the flying dragon, I need to gather hundreds of rank 6 demonic pills. The Tianshan eagle is an Archean variant. Its demonic pill can be used. Ling Xiao muttered to himself. He kept the demonic pill and flew into the distance. The secret skill of the ancestral dragon, Ling Xiao, had already broken through to the second level of the earth dragon body. His physical body was extremely strong. Coupled with the violent dragon's superpower, he could even fight against a peak rank 6 demonic beast and even kill it. There were many demonic kings in the secret territory. Ling Xiao's current strength was not a match for the demonic kings. If he could break through to the body of the flying dragon, he might be able to fight a demonic king with his physical strength. Ling Xiao had already obtained the most important 9 heavens spiritual grass. Now, he still needed hundreds of 6th rank demonic beast cores and some supplementary spiritual herbs. Ling Xiao was confident that he could collect all the treasures he needed in the secret territory. After breaking through to the body of the flying dragon, Ling Xiao was more confident in the next step of his plan. Whoosh! In the secret territory of longevity, the spiritual qi of heaven and earth was extremely dense, especially in this remote mountain range. The spiritual qi had even turned into spiritual mist, drifting between the mountains. Ling Xiao inhaled and exhaled the spiritual qi of heaven and earth, continuously converting it into heaven-devouring true qi. The heaven-devouring secret skill and the secret skill of the ancestral dragon were Ling Xiao's foundation. The heaven-devouring secret skill was a chi cultivation technique, while the secret skill of the ancestral dragon was a supreme martial art that could unlock the potential of the physical body. However, the stronger Ling Xiao's physical body was, the harder it was for him to break through. Chapter 345. Whoosh! Ling Xiao left the valley and headed towards a towering mountain. Ling Xiao felt a familiar aura from that mountain. Perhaps there was something he needed on that mountain. Ancient trees towered into the sky, and the ground was covered with withered leaves. Powerful beasts roared one after another, emitting a terrifying demonic aura that shook one's soul. When Ling Xiao flew past a mountain forest, the earth suddenly rumbled. Several towering ancient trees collapsed with a rumble and turned into fine powder. Roar! A huge black bear rushed out from the forest. Its black fur stood up like steel needles. It bared its fangs at Ling Xiao and its eyes were filled with ferocity. The black bear seemed to be dozens of feet tall. As it ran on the ground, every step it took caused the earth to tremble. Moreover, anything that stood in its way, whether it was a towering ancient tree or a huge mountain rock, was brutally smashed to pieces by it. The black bear was very agile. Its body was covered with a layer of xianhuang qi. It threw a punch at Ling Xiao. This is, the demonic earth bear. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He didn't expect another demonic beast with an archaic bloodline to appear. This demonic earth bear was a rank 6 demonic beast. Judging from its aura, it wasn't far from the peak. It wasn't much weaker than the golden armor wolf king. The demonic earth bear roared in anger as it charged towards Ling Xiao with a ferocious aura. Kill! Ling Xiao didn't hesitate. He roared and rushed forward. Rumble! A man and a bear collided violently. It was as if an earth-shattering collision had occurred. The ground around the two of them began to crack, and countless boulders turned into dust. Ling Xiao and the demonic earth bear retreated at the same time, smashing a few ancient trees. Instantly, the forest became a mess. Roar! The demonic earth bear's eyes were filled with bloodlust. Its skin and flesh were rough, and its physical strength was abnormal. It was even stronger than the golden armor wolf king. Boom! Boom! Ling Xiao used his physical strength to clash with the demonic earth bear. At the same time, he borrowed the strength of the demonic earth bear to refine his physical strength. Under such an extreme clash, Ling Xiao's physical strength, which had already reached its peak, began to slowly strengthen again. In the distance, a small mountain peak shattered, and countless huge rocks rolled down. That earth demon bear was carrying huge rocks and smashing them towards Ling Xiao. Boom! Ling Xiao punched out. His fist was dazzling, and countless rocks were shattered by him. Ling Xiao used all of his physical strength to engage in an intense battle with the demonic earth bear. Finally, after a few hours of battle, Ling Xiao finally killed the demonic earth bear with his physical strength. Ling Xiao could feel that the blood in his body was as vast as the sea. It was as if there were golden dragons swimming in it, exuding an incomparably mysterious dragon aura. After going through this battle, not only did he not feel any discomfort, but his physical strength had become even more terrifying. Ling Xiao took out the demonic earth bear's demonic pill, and kept the useful treasures such as the bear's paw, skin, and bones. Just like that, Ling Xiao spent the next 2 days in this mountain range, searching for powerful demonic beasts. Those demonic beasts were all unlucky. After the battle with Ling Xiao, they turned into demonic pills and were collected by Ling Xiao. Although he did not deliberately collect them, there must be precious spiritual herbs where powerful demonic beasts were. Therefore, Ling Xiao obtained many spiritual herbs and treasures. Some of them were even king herbs that were more than 10,000 years old. They were extremely precious. In 2 days, Ling Xiao killed more than 100 demonic beasts. His entire body was shrouded in a thick layer of killing intent, and his essence, qi, and spirit had undergone a transformation. If I'm not wrong, there should be a king herb on top of that mountain. Finally, Ling Xiao's gaze landed on the towering mountain. 2 days ago, Ling Xiao had discovered that familiar aura. However, Ling Xiao also felt a faint sense of danger. There seemed to be some kind of terrifying existence on top of that mountain. However, in the end, Ling Xiao still decided to go to the top of the mountain to take a look. After all, king medicine-grade spiritual herbs were still very precious. Until now, Ling Xiao had only collected one king medicine, which was a 10,000-year-old purple jade ginseng. Spiritual herbs that had reached the king herb level all had very strong spirituality. Moreover, they had seized the fortune of heaven and earth, and contained a trace of mysterious power of law. They were essential for refining supreme Tao pills. The mountain looked majestic, but with Ling Xiao's powerful primordial spirit perception, he felt a trace of mysterious fluctuation on the mountain. Just like the fluctuations of a formation, it enveloped the entire divine mountain. Whoosh! Ling Xiao's speed was extremely fast. After using the secret teleportation technique, his aura was restrained to the extreme. His entire person seemed to have merged into the void. In an instant, he landed on the mountainside of the mountain. He could see a huge waterfall falling in front of him. That king herb should be in that waterfall. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. After a few leaps, he arrived in front of the waterfall. The huge waterfall flowed straight down, as if the Milky Way was reversed. It was snow-white and dazzling. When it fell into the deep pool below, it stirred up thousands of huge waves. However, in the middle of the pool, there was a golden lotus floating. It looked the size of a wash basin. The 9-petaled golden lotus emitted a brilliant light. Moreover, there was a layer of light on each petal. The 9 light circles intertwined together, looking very mysterious. 9 reincarnation golden lotus. It is indeed a king herb. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. He recognized the origin of this golden lotus. The 9 reincarnation golden lotus appeared once every 1,000 years. In order to refine it into a 9 reincarnation golden lotus, it would take a total of 9,000 years. This 9 reincarnation golden lotus could cleanse one's meridians and improve one's foundation. Under the 9 transformations, it could even directly transform a person into a born Taoism aptitude. It was incomparably precious. Ling Xiao walked towards the 9 reincarnation golden lotus. There was a trace of excitement in his eyes. With this 9 reincarnation golden lotus, he would have all the treasures needed to break through to the flying dragon constitution. At that time, Ling Xiao's strength would undergo another qualitative change. Buzz! At this moment, a blazing flame shot through the air and landed in front of Ling Xiao in an instant. It formed a barrier of fire, separating Ling Xiao from the pool. Little brother, this 9 reincarnation golden lotus was first seen by this big sister. Give it to big sister, okay? A bell-like laughter rang out. The void flashed with light and flames spread. A stunning woman in a red dress stepped on a crimson divine rainbow. She was like a flame fairy, incomparably mysterious. The woman's figure was extremely hot. Her thighs were long and slender, and her waist was slender. The 2 lumps of white in front of her chest were almost bursting out, revealing a ravine that would make one's blood boil. She had a perfect face with long eyelashes. Her big, sparkling eyes were full of flirtatiousness. As her eyes moved, there was a different kind of charm and seduction. Phoenix girl. Ling Xiao's eyes flashed. This woman was the Phoenix girl of the Wanshou sect. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.